welcome to the second day or day 2 of the Emotional Intelligence Week 2020, brought to you by Emotion City. My name is Oyinkansola Alabi, the principal and the founder of Emotion City, Lagos and Texas. If you were with us yesterday, I haven't recovered like Dr. Maimuna Kadri, Isaac Onoja, and Izefua emptied their bowels and their hearts to us. I liked the acronym that Dr. Maimuna gave to us. I loved Isaac's session on how to move from a state of unconsciousness to consciousness. And of course, Izefua, the oracle of intentional parenting, was here to equip us on parenting and everything that makes us effective, productive, and of course, also achieve profitability. Welcome once again to day 2 or the second day of the Emotional Intelligence Week. It is my pleasure to host you. I would love to know where exactly you're streaming in from, where you're listening from, what part of the country, what part of the world. So if you are here with us now, could you please just mention where exactly you are watching live from? Yesterday, we hosted people from Lagos State, from Warri, from Port Harcourt, from United Kingdom, from Singapore, from everywhere in the world. It's a borderless world, so you can stream in from anywhere and everywhere. So if you were with us yesterday, and you are back today, thank you so much. It is our pleasure to host you once again. And I am here because of my team. So I always love to appreciate and to mention my team repeatedly. I am because they are. So thank you to all the associates of Emotion City. Thank you to all the faculty members. Thank you to all the alumni members. Thank you to all our speakers. Like, they are giving of themselves at a particular time like this. This is not a time where a lot of people have extras or they can even share. But our speakers are awesome and every soul partnering and collaborating with us to bring this to you. So I am because you are. This is not about me. This is about all of us preserving what it is to be human. My first guest is on standby already, but I would just like to know where exactly you're watching from. Do a little recap about what happened yesterday, the transformation, the highlights of yesterday also, and what your wow moment was. And then we'll invite our speaker. Today we have 4 awesome speakers. We will start with Mr. Like he said his first name, and his name is Benga Totoi. Then we move on to BC Soji Oyawe. Then we move on to Yemi Fashion, and then finally Innocent Usa. But I will be here to introduce all of them to let you know who they are and my experience with each of the professional. So thank you once again. I see people are streaming in from Lagos. Thank you. Thank you from Benin. Please let me know where you're watching us from, what part of the world, what part of the country, anywhere you're streaming in from. Thank you for showing up on the second day of the Emotional Intelligence Week, Africa's first Emotional Intelligence Week, both digital and offline. Like, this is world breaking, and this is what we're doing. Africa's first. Africans are ready. We are doing what we're supposed to do to become who we're supposed to become. So people are streaming in from Lagos, from Benin. Thank you so much. My next question is, what was your highlight yesterday? We have 3 fantastic and beautiful sessions. Dr. Maimuna Kadri, we had Izefua Ehabor, and then we had Isaac Onoja. From the medical doctor, psychiatrist, to the parenting expert, and then to the brain scientist, talking about emotions and how we can be certain in an uncertain world and how we can be emotionally stable in an unstable world. Like, wow, how we can ensure that despite what is happening in the world, we do not go with the world. We would survive, and we survive every bit of it. So they armed us with weapons yesterday, and I would like to know what exactly you learned from yesterday's session. Could you please share? Let me just see what is going on. Let me see what is going on at the comment section. What was your highlight yesterday? What was your highlight yesterday? Like, by the time we were done yesterday, honestly, I just had to go to bed. I was thinking of Isaac's. One of my wow moments was when he said, all we're doing from the moment we were born till the moment we die is to move from a place of unconsciousness to consciousness. Wow, that hit me. And then I liked it because I'm a bookworm, honestly, when he said that our brain has the capacity to hold 9 PhDs. And I wanted just 1. So like my brain still has capacity for 8. So I just thought of, you know what, I can as well just have another one. Another one, but then I'm not sure yet. But I like that idea. I like just the idea of knowing all I need to know. I like that idea. And then for Izefua, I liked when she said something around what is your emotional signature, your emotional currency. And of course, for Dr. Memuna, where she gave us the meaning of the word emotions and city, like she fleshed it out and was able to tell us a lot of things. And one of the statements that I held on to was that all of us have something we call a to-do list, but do we all also have a not to-do list? I like that. Sometimes not to do can be not going on social media, not reading from a particular blog. What else? Not gossiping, all of those things that sometimes you just put yourself in here and there. What else? Not taking soda. What else? So this is just not me. I'm talking about a lot of not to-do lists, just a couple of them. Yeah, I liked that particular part. So please, let's talk. Someone said, oh, I didn't join on time, but I really enjoyed the explanation. If you were not here yesterday, we have the video. So right after today, just look for the video before this particular recording that you will be able to watch later on, which is on day one, and then you will be furnished with everything that you missed. Okay, so someone says, know your emotional depleters versus emotional enhancers. Fantastic. Yes, I remember that. I wrote that down also. Yeah, so let's talk. What were your highlights and high points yesterday? If you're watching today, please share this link with your friend. All the speakers have decided to be so gracious to train us for free. So the least we can do is to please listen, invite our family members, invite everybody to be a part of it. Today is the last day. Yes, today is technically the last day, but tomorrow's session is exclusive to professionals, and we will be hosting the, what do I call him? The oracle of the brand industry in Nigeria, and just somebody that I love. I would explain who he is to me tomorrow. But tomorrow's session is exclusive to professionals, and it will be holding on Zoom. So if you haven't bought your ticket, just visit our website, emotioncity.com/products. Just go to the product page, pick a ticket, an access card, and be part of the team. 100 high network individuals and professionals. Like, people are streaming in from the world. I saw about 6 people from the United States joining in tomorrow. I saw about 3 people from the United Kingdom joining in tomorrow. Like, professionals, thought leaders, thinkers are joining tomorrow's conversation with Mr. Leke Alder, the oracle of the brand industry, and a man that I deeply love. If you do not have the tickets, please visit emotioncity.com/products. If you also have not subscribed to this channel, be kind. I know that you are, so express it. Thank you. So let's see. High points, empathy. Yes, E is empathy helps you acknowledge the people in your team. M is maintain a flexible routine and structure. Awesome. And then she goes on to explain the O for active listening skills, listening to understand, not necessarily to respond. Fantastic. And then, like, this woman is not joking at all. Mrs. Showande is not joking at all. She just went ahead to give us the meaning of Emotion City as described by Dr. Memuna Kadiri. Yes. So let's keep talking. Let's keep talking. We have about 5 minutes more. What were your wow moments yesterday? Please share. What were your wow moments yesterday? Please share your wow moments yesterday. What did you learn? What did you learn yesterday? What did you learn yesterday? Let's talk. What did you learn yesterday? What were your wow moments from Dr. Mimuna's session to Izefua's session to Isaac's session? Today we have 4 powerful thought leaders here who are global trainers, global speakers. They will be here with us, and 2 of them are already on standby. I will be inviting the first speaker in about 5 minutes, but before then, I would like to hear from you. What were your wow moments yesterday, and how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? We love to know your emotional signature. We love to understand your emotional temperature. How are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? What were your wow moments yesterday? On standby is my first speaker. I would introduce him in a few minutes. But how are you feeling today? How are you feeling today? What were your wow moments yesterday? If you haven't picked a ticket for tomorrow's exclusive session on Zoom, I'm not sure what else to say, but would you be missing? If I say you'll be missing, it will be an understatement. But trust me, Mr. Leke Alder is someone that I personally have invested digits to learn from, and what that means is that he's not a motivational speaker. He's not necessarily a transformational speaker. I think that he's an encounter. Just one word has moved my mind, my business, a lot of things for me. And this is the most affordable you would get in anywhere. Just one word. Just one word from him can change your entire encounter in a year. So I think, and I suggest, I know that you should just get it. emotioncity.com/product is ready to host you. So while moments we're still learning, I learned that there's a feeling behind the feeling. Awesome. Yes. There's always a feeling behind a feeling. Also, there is a thought behind a thought, because there's a difference between a sponsoring thought and a sponsored thought. So yeah, I like that. The part about interference got me. Oh yes, where we were hearing that some mails are interferences. You know, all those people who used to say that. I'm part of them. We used to say that if I don't swallow. Isaac told us yesterday, swallow can interfere. Okay, yes. So where exactly are you also tuning in and streaming in from? From the part of the world? Where exactly? What country? What state? How do you also feel today? And what were your wow moments yesterday? What were your wow moments yesterday? Let's talk before I invite my first speaker to shut this down right about now. He will be talking about preserving what it is to be human, but the exact topic is preserving the human in the human resource. Preserving the human in the human resource. And no other person can do that but him and another gentleman that we have today. So let's talk. What were your wow moments yesterday? Question 1. Question 2, how do you feel today? Oh yeah, so I see one of my Atlanta crew. I hope that you are safe. Please be safe by all means. From the natural pandemic to whatever is going on. Please be safe by all means. You matter to us. Streaming in from Atlanta. We see you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. I think you should be about 6 hours. Yeah. So thank you for joining. You should be close to your midday, but maybe not necessarily midday yet, but close to. Thank you for joining. Let's talk. 3 more minutes to go. Let's talk. How was yesterday? What did you learn from yesterday? How do you presently feel? It also means how are you feeling? And then finally is, have you picked your ticket yet for tomorrow's session? Today is the last free session. Tomorrow's session is hosted or will be hosted on Zoom, exclusive to 100 professionals. The email address is there right on the screen on the comment section. Just look at it, emotioncity.com/products. If you haven't subscribed, just because I know that you are kind and fantastic, please click the subscription button and just be a part of this movement. So I see my Lagosians, my Nigerians, people are streaming in from the United States of Surulere, from Abuja, from Albany Corral, that's also a part of the United States in Lagos. 60 seconds to go. Wow moment. Who wants to tell me? What did you learn from yesterday? Please. What did you learn from yesterday? What did you learn from yesterday? What did you learn from yesterday? Let's go. What was your wow moment? Dr. Mimuna's session, Izefua's session, Isaac, Mr. Unconscious. Mr. Unconscious. Isaac had to sit in darkness to depict what it is to move from a state of unconsciousness to consciousness. That guy, the water guy, the waterman, he loves water. Yeah, so someone says, I learned about not to-do list. Fantastic. Not to-do list, not to-do list. Okay, yes. Live from Isheri North. That's also a part of the United States of Lagos. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So let me go to my first speaker. I would be inviting him on board in about 60 seconds. My first speaker, who exactly is my first speaker? His topic is how to preserve the human in the human resource. Benga Totoyi is an emerging HR thought leader with over 16 years experience with solid interest in people development, organizational design, and institutional change. He's currently the Director, Membership and Market Development at the Chartered Institute of Personnel Management, Nigeria, also called CIPM. Benga was recently recognized by the World HRD Congress in India as a business leader with HR orientation and currently serves as a mentor on the Google Launchpad Start program for tech startups, as well as Ready Set Work, a Lagos State government employability and enterprise development program for all tertiary institutions in the state. His passion for social enterprise is reflected in his works with platforms like the Arts Foundation, Faith Foundation, Leap Africa, Live Your Dream Africa, and others. He's a partner at Airline and Grant, a people development company offering end-to-end innovation solutions to organizations. He's happily married with an adorable daughter and lives in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome with me, God people professionals, Mr. Benga Totoi.
Hi, good to be here.
Thank you,
thanks for the things you do.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing your time and your life with us.
Pleasure.
Yeah. Yes. Welcome to the Emotional Intelligence Week. It is your first time at the Emotional Intelligence Week, but we surely know that it will not be your last time. So welcome. We have officially initiated you to the Emotional Intelligence Conference. Yeah. And then this is annual. So you have been officially initiated. Yes, this is an official initiation. This is a public initiation.
I can as well just block down my calendar for the next 10 years, right?
Yes, please. It always happens first week of June every year. So you're welcome. I will be stepping aside and you will be in charge right now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. I want to say a big thank you to you. Thanks for what you do, your entire team, and everyone that's a part of such a great event. I think one of the things I want to say first is to the entire team behind this project, faculty members and analysts, like you just said, you guys do an amazing work. It's like every other day I wake up and then there's a post from this person and that person, and then it constantly tagged, and I'll just move around and see what. It's amazing what you've done in the space. In Nigeria and across the world, as far as EQ is concerned. I want to say a big thank you to you, and it's our prayer that you'll be able to scale the impact of what you're doing. I wish you all the very best. I logged on yesterday. Amazing sessions, as it were. Dr. Like someone said, Dr. May, great time, great learning experience. I listened in, and I'm happy to see what's happening in the space, some sort of attention given to specialist areas, people working with parents, people working with kids, teenagers, and things like that. And we hope to see more. One area that I personally hope and pray we see a lot more intervention is with people either in specialized homes or in prison and things like that. There's a feeling in this part of the world that once you've been sent to jail, that's it. You can't even come out. And if you ever come out, it's almost as if there's no hope for you again in the world. And I know that with efforts like this, we will see a lot more happening in terms of helping people come back into the society and all that. So special thanks to your team and to everyone who spoke yesterday and others who are speaking later today. Thank you so much. I would like to, like you just said, I'll be speaking from the HR side of things as it affects the business, and letting us see the place of emotional intelligence in the workplace. And perhaps if you have professionals on this call who are in the people development or people management space, it's my hope that you will pick up one or two things, right? We're in very, very interesting times. Very interesting times. If we struggled to convey the coming change to the entire world of work for a while, I think you should say thank you to COVID-19 that came, and in one single sweep, one single event, the entire world came into an almighty pause, and we all truly are coming to terms with some things that we need to do in terms of how we change the work we do, we change our attitude to work, our relationship with colleagues, and even the kind of businesses that we operate. And I dare say, even the way governments run. And it's clear the entire world would never remain the same again. And it's important that from sessions like this, we pick up learnings and we pick up tips and insights that can help us as we adapt. And so I'll just share a few thoughts, some things that I've seen in the space based on what I do, and if by the time we are done with my session and you leave with the possibility of a change in attitude, or you just pick up a thought that you will go, spend some time on, I will be glad, right? So I'll share a few things because I was getting so excited yesterday. I just said, you know what, let me just stay overnight and just document my thoughts. So I'll try and read a few things and just make it easier for us. And good thing is, as we go on today, the next two speakers, I know them very well. They will be able to build on some of the things that we share, I hope, and also then make this strong on our hearts. Okay. I'll be honest to confess that it's not a it's a challenging time to work in the human resource space because we're expected to perform magic. There are a few things, a few expectations that comes to our desk at this time, and I dare say that will continue for the foreseeable future. That makes our work very, very interesting. Undue attention, on very high expectation, and so on things that we have to do. It's an opportunity for us to make impact on the people we work with and on the organizations we work with. But let's clear up a few things. And why do I say EQ is very important in the workplace? From my research and speaking with different organizations and professionals, what we've seen is that there is this. I'm sure it has happened to some of us even today, where you meet someone and you go, "Oh, can I meet you?" The answer you get to "Who are you?" or "Can I meet you?" conversations is often from a standpoint of what we do and not who we are. Um, and for me, there's a challenge there. Human experiences and expectations are tied to what we do at work or the businesses that we're involved in, and it shouldn't necessarily be like that. Um, we've become a people defined by what we do largely, when it should be the other way around. How do I mean? Our work should be the expression of who we are. Our work, the things we do as professionals, or the work or the business we do, should be an expression of who we are, right? It is the who before the what we do. It's about who you are first, essentially, because that's what provides a solid base for everything that you do, right? Um, it is the most sustainable way to go about living and making an impact and finding true meaning and engagement in the things that we do. We've got so much tied to what we do that when that is taken away from us, or when that is challenged in any way, we lose our sense of equilibrium. We become very unstable. And we've seen cases where people spiral out of control. We've even seen cases where people go beyond confusion into some level of depression or some level of darkness because, and particularly in my line of work, I've been privileged to do quite a lot in the financial service space. And we see people who perhaps over like a 10-year period haven't done something again and again. The moment a challenge like the COVID-19 or any other, if your organization is downsizing or something like that, or you have a boss who or colleagues who just aren't aligned with you, or there are some challenges there. Once there is a problem or with the things we do, we see people lose their sense of worth. We see people lose their sense of meaning because for a long time they were defined by the job titles, the organizations they work for. In fact, there's a joke out there that sometimes when maybe you left college and you're meeting your friend after, maybe you go for all this high school reunion and things like that, whilst some uh, um, colleague or old student will be able to say, "Oh, this is where I work," and be very proud of the organizations they work for because perhaps the organization is big, is well known in the market, and there's an assumption that for you to work in so and so company in the oil and gas sector or in banking, you must be doing so well. And in that same gathering, you have people who, "Oh, how are you doing? What do you do? And where do you work?" And it's almost like they stutter before they answer you, and they go, "My office is somewhere in Ikeja," or like when you said, "My office is one part of United States of Lagos," and you see some sense of complex coming to it, right? It's important that we start looking at that and asking ourselves the question about who exactly am I outside of what I do, and what am I bringing to the workplace, or what's that relationship between who I am and what I do with the work with my hands, as it were. So it's important that we begin to look at that, because what we've seen in the market is a situation where people are having challenges with marriage, with their spouses, with kids, and other things in their lives, because the challenge is tied to some instability in their work. In fact, we've seen cases where, I just want to be sure we can hear me properly, and there's no challenge with the video or the audio. So please, to the team back end, let me be sure that this is very clear and everyone can see me or hear me very. It would be nice to hear that, to get that feedback. Thank you. What we've seen as we go about our work in human resources is that sometimes we even see people at work, and once that part of their lives becomes a little bit unstable, it begins to affect every other area. So it's important that we help people find a balance, a healthy balance, like I like to say. It's important that we do that, because with COVID-19, what has happened has been that source of livelihood, that source of definition, as it were, for human beings, became hugely challenged all over the world. For a long time in the HR space, we kept saying the world of work, the worker, and the workplace was going to change. We didn't know it was going to be this massive. We didn't know it was going to come this quick. We've seen gradual changes in technology in different sectors all over the world, but we didn't know that there was going to be one major event that would change everything. And if you look around us, people are losing their jobs, organizations are shrinking in sizes, people are shutting down and just saying, hey, we didn't see this coming. What do we do? And while we're trying to figure it out, let's just shut down first. And the more of that we see, the more challenges we see with the professionals who have operated in that environment for a long time. I have been defined by this for so long, and without me knowing what was coming. And if you check the human experience, we hate it when we don't have control. We hate it when we don't know what's going on, when we don't know what's coming, when we can't forecast properly. And as working professionals, when you can't say this is where my finance is going to be, this is where my kids going to go to, when that is taken away from you at a time like this, yeah, it throws up a lot of things. So let me move slightly over to this whole conversation around the future of work. It's clear now we can't be talking about the future of work anymore, because it's here and it's in our face. But it will be very important. Thank you so much, Ola. It will be very important to just, in a few minutes, just explain that whole spectrum, so that we accept the reality, stop fighting it, and then ask ourselves, how do we adapt going forward? So the world of work, the worker and the workplace will never remain the same again. Thanks to COVID, thanks to the advent of technology, thanks to changes in consumer behavior, thanks to increased competition from different organizations looking for increased market share, organizations looking to scale their product from Nigeria to other parts of Africa or Europe, or companies in Europe thinking of coming into Nigeria. As we see major changes in the demographic outlook of the entire world, we are seeing different organizations respond to that. And we've seen all that as we watch the news. My point is, though, all these changes and disruptions, it's way beyond COVID. So it's not going to be a situation where once we get a virus, or once we open up the economy again and people get back to work, we can assume that everything is okay. The world will likely never go back to what it was again. I mean, just before I came on live, I was gisting with Oya, and we're like, well, how are you doing? Are you at home? Are you in the office? I was like, hey, I'm working from home. I remember throwing a joke at a friend yesterday. I said, oh, how are you? Are you at work, or are you at home working? And she was sounding confused. And I was like, hey, I was just trying to mess with you. Where exactly are you and what are you doing? And she said, you know what? I'm at home, but I'm working at home. And that's going to be, in fact, in speaking with one or two senior colleagues and business executives, yes, we've used this COVID pandemic to prune down on expenses and make major changes to the business. Even as the economy opens up again, what you're going to see is a situation where people are saying, hey, wait a minute, look at the banks, for instance. If we survived without, I know some banks that literally shut down their customer care, and some reduced it by as much as the operatives there by as much as 70% or 80%. What you're going to see what I'm going to see is a situation where business owners, in fact, just before this session, I still had a call with a senior business executive in Abuja, and the conversation is, hey, well, government is saying we should go back to work. What do you think? What should I be saying as head of corporate affairs in terms of cost savings, deployment of resources, and all that? And I was like, hey, yes, you can stagger the resumption because of health and safety of your people, but more importantly, even as you get back to work, you don't want a situation where people can just rank up the expenses again and things are all over the place. If you've saved this much money over the last 2-3 months thereabout, we can as well continue, because guess what? The interesting thing is that behavior has been changed already. And so we are in a situation where this will continue. I'm sorry to say there'll be a few more job losses. A few businesses will stop and then perhaps pivot and face another direction. So let's face the fact, all that will happen. But it's not all gloom and doom, right? As we experience the changing dynamics of the world of work, what we are also going to see will be increased opportunities, will be some sense of newness, or new industries being birthed, new businesses being started, and people taking the bull by the horn and starting things and launching platforms and reaching out and expressing themselves more, right? So all that is going to happen. But my point is, we've got to find a healthy balance between who we are and what we do, and make sure that, so hey, wait a minute, I didn't have to go to work for 2 months plus. I didn't have to be dignified by colleagues and things like that. I couldn't attend events and go to certain places where I got the occasional eye and shots of energy from the way I picked up energy from the environment. I think the biggest challenge for a number of people was, over this period, we were left alone. We were by ourselves. We couldn't run away from ourselves, and we had time to look inwards and say, hey, wait a minute. I've lost this job, or who am I? I've lost this job, what happens to my life? Or I've lost the job, but what happens to my family? Or I'm not going to lose the job, but my income is going to be reduced in a way. But who am I? All that has happened, right? So, but moving on from there, what do we then do? When I got this call, I started really thinking, and I spent the last few days going back to a report I like to read every year, the World Happiness Report, because I've also seen a challenge in the place in the marketplace, where sometimes when we talk about EQ and all of that, people erroneously think we are just looking for people to be excited and it's the goody feely stuff. No, even when we talk about emotional intelligence in the workplace, it doesn't mean we will not face some unpleasant circumstances, right? But so I just went into that report, and I found it very interesting. So I looked at the 2020. So if you look at the 2019 report, one of the main things that came out was that, okay, yes, prior 2019, people alluded to the fact that if you want people to be happier, you need to put them in more connections and relationships. And about that same time, there was a growth in the acceptance of the internet and social media, and how that supposedly creates connectedness amongst professionals and human beings all over the world. But what the 2019 report summarized was that, as we saw a growth in such social platforms that were meant to enable collaborations and interactions with people, people in certain places became less happier, because it was as if it created a gap. But I then started looking for some connection to the workplace. So I looked at the 2020 report, and I found something very interesting. So the report focused on three things and how it makes people happy. It looked at how the social environment, looked at social, just 1 second. It looked at social, urban, and natural elements and how that makes people happy. There were conversations around how your social environment, your natural place of habitat, and if you live in a city or not, how does all of that contribute to your state of happiness? The question I asked myself was, but wait a minute, people spend a lot of their lives at work. People derive a lot of meaning from what they do. And for some that have found a sense of alignment between who they are and what they do, it's critical. How come there's no connection between the happiness report and what we do? And because it's very, very important as we go. Yes, as HR folks, we manage human beings in our places of work, but I think what I'm trying to leave with us is the fact that let's look at human beings more, and what makes them fundamentally happy outside of the world of work, because that's what they can then bring to the workplace. Even as we work in HR, our work will have to be targeted at that as the human beings that work with us. And how can we look beyond the cover of work or the cover of the workplace or the cover of the environment and help them in self-discovery? That's what I'm driving at. So I was surprised that the report didn't look at how what we do is tied to our state of happiness and joy and fulfillment, right? So as we look at the workplace, I'll just drop a few comments. If you're in the HR space here, or for professionals that are on this call doing different things in the EQ space, this is my charge there, and I'll just read through a number of things. Number one, as we go back to work, let's help people discover themselves with the work that they're doing. There is, in fact, in the HR space, when we talk about employee engagement, the real juice, the real power comes when you help that employee find true alignment in between where he or she is headed with his life and what you're making him or her do at work. When I see that alignment between when my work is no longer just a job from which I earn a living, when I see my true self find expression in the work that I do. I take myself for instance. If you give me any work that takes away the opportunity to explain, to teach, to help people discover themselves, to attend to to attend to challenges, to solve complex problems, to think through something, I'm dead. I'm literally dead. But if you give me any work that will make me think through stuff, connect the dots, blow up a project, bring it back together, make people happy, teach, share knowledge, then I'm fine. So as we go back to work, as the economy opens again, and we go back to the workplace, please let's do one thing. Help people discover themselves. That's one. Two, let's make our workplaces stretch environments. How do I mean? Let the work we give people to do stretch them. Let's take people beyond their comfort zones. Like I said, EQ is not about just feeling good and being high and being happy. Let people see that the work we give them help them discover their strengths and their capabilities. Let it stretch them. Because we've also seen that when you're not stretched, when you are not growing, when you have been at the workplace for 2-3 years and you can truly tell yourself, I've not increased in value, I've not increased in capability, a level of resentment sets in. So let our workplaces, let the jobs we give people, let the organizations that we are creating stretch people beyond their comfort zones to discover deeper strengths and capabilities that they want to do. Number three, even as we look at leadership development programs for people involved in talent management, let that program create growth opportunities. Move that person away from that job role. Push that person into his or her next level. He or she has been in sales, move that person to marketing. He or she has been in a customer-facing unit, maybe like a receptionist or something, or a teller in the bank. Move that person to customer experience and let that person go deal with numbers. Stretch, provide growth opportunities for people, because there's a lot tied to who we are and what we do. And as we talk about emotional intelligence in the workplace, we've got to stretch the individuals, not necessarily the job. Number five, let our compensation and benefit policies reflect true recognition. Why? That's a basic need of human beings. Again, look beyond the work. For everyone that you work with, people in your organizations, high or low, no matter the grade, when you look at your compensation plan, we've even advised that you can always link that up with the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Why do we do that? Because there is that individual in that manager, in that MD, in that CEO, and that's why one of the things, for instance, you can use to manage a difficult boss. Look beyond the order of that title and work with the person in that boss. So let your compensation and benefit policies show true recognition. When was the last time you made your senior leaders show true gratitude? Yes, we've gone through a challenging period. As we begin to come back, if you have employees that offer to take pay cuts, if you have employees that decided to say, okay, you know what, we know what the organization is going through, but we'll stay with you anyway. Yes, I got another offer, but this organization has been a part of my life and I'm not going to leave. As we get back to work, guys, let's show true recognition. As we get back, as we open up the economy, truly recognize that backup to your work, that backup officer and show true gratitude. That person that never made you lose a report or lose a deadline, show true gratitude. And why am I saying that? It's important that we don't let people lose themselves in the course of work. As I wrap this up and maybe take questions, I love series and I learn from everything. I was on last night watching The Secretary, one of my favorite series, and there's this character I like a lot. It's one of that, Russell, who is like the chief of staff for the female American president. Apparently, over time, work had taken him away from his wife. He didn't know when he created that gap in his family. And he walked up to the president once and said, okay, well, President, sorry, your daughter is to have a wedding, but I should let you know that, please don't let me sit beside my wife. And I was like, oh, why? What's the problem? He said, well, it's been well over a year that I've actually been living in the hotel. And the president was very surprised. Okay, well, no problem. But then the wedding came, you know what weddings do to us, right? And here in Lagos, yes, we've missed our Saturday weddings, right? And in all that whole atmosphere and all that, the guy walked up to his wife and said, you know what? Yes, I get it now. I chose my work over you. And now I see that there's no meaning to that work anymore, because he's used to what he wanted was a situation where after the long day's job, let me come back home and share my experience with my wife. But hey, the wife was gone because for a period in his life, he chose work over who he was, something else that was more important to him as a person. And he walked up to his wife and said, you know what, I'm sorry, it's been years, but this is my resignation letter and I'm ready to drop that work. And for the first time in a long time, choose you over that work. And the wife said, well, I will believe it when I see it. And they walked up to the president to present his resignation letter on a napkin, and the president accepted. Interestingly enough, though, they were to go have a dance, and then his phone rang again. When he picked up the phone, the guy just collected that phone and threw it in a glass of water. And that's what I'm trying to say here, guys. Who we are is more critical. And as HR people or business leaders or senior executives here, as we go back to work, let's help people discover themselves so that they can bring the whole of themselves into the work that they do. Let our workplaces be growth places. Let it be stretch environments. Let people find more meaning. And even when it's time for people to move on from your team and move on from your business, as part of their growth process, as part of their growth journey, let it be, right? And I hope and pray that as we do that, the workplace will be more fun and more engaging. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and I hope we got some.
Thank you so much, Mr. T. Thank you so much. I liked a particular part that struck me was when you mentioned that you are hoping, desiring, and praying that many more people will begin to probably create emotional solutions for people in prisons, and at those special places, and I was like, interested. Yes, I've had a visit. Yes, I don't want to say a prison visit, so that I just want to clarify. Yes. So, because of one of the titles that I functioned in, there was I've been invited to the prisons like twice, and initially I really did not want to go, not because of anything, but I just had reservations. I wasn't particularly ready to soak up the emotions I was going to experience, and then when you mentioned it, it struck another chord within me. I would just, as much as possible, I will support anybody who has that call, but I'm very confident. I'm very confident. Yes, but I like that. So we'll be taking questions. If you have any questions, please share at the comment section, and we would, of course, engage Mr. Totoyi on it. I also have another question. I have a question, which is when you said we should be engaging our employees. Yes, something around engaging employees and trying to help them like fulfill purpose or something in that direction, and the Nigerian part of me. So I'm deliberately saying Nigeria, not the human part of me. The Nigerian, we know there are usually two flavors. You are a human being and then you are a Nigerian.
I can relate, don't worry.
Yes. So it is the Nigerian part of me that came up and said, I like the idea. So as a practitioner, I totally agree with that statement. But as a normal Nigerian, I'm thinking, why should I be bothered with your life? Like, guy, like, please, I also have a life I'm trying to deal with. Like, am I your parent? What's going on?
Yeah.
So that was me in Nigerianness. What do you think about that, please?
Thanks for that question. Very interesting one. So two things. One is, I think my question back to you is, so you
Okay.
look at your employees, you look at your team. Do you want the whole of that individual, or do you want a part of him or her?
Of course, we all want the whole.
You want the
but
whole, right?
Yes.
So there's a way to see it. And we've got help business owners and see, I wear both caps and I can relate with this. I wear both caps. What we're saying is this: if you have that colleague or that team member, or as it were, a direct report, who, in coming to the office, see, 3, 4, 5 years ago, I wrote an article where the title was, "It's a workplace, not a love lounge."
Good.
And what I was trying to emphasize was that, see, come to work, do your job, go. I'm not your dad, I'm not your mom. My job title says manager. Don't expect all that goody-feely thing, To do your job first, then we can have that. What we have seen, though, is there's been a slight migration. See, people, if you look at, because that employee that you have, you can't take him or her outside of the effects of the environment, outside of the effect of his home. So what people are not getting at home from other relationships and from the environment, because we spend so much time at work, we expect to get it from our organization, from our colleagues, and from our line managers. And so when that line manager or that leader is smart enough to create an environment that provides that, trust me, you get it now, because I see that you're smiling now, so you get it.
No, I'm just trying to be the devil's advocate here. That this is how they squeeze us. But what I hear you say, like I believe, is what I would call business chemistry.
I like the sound of that. Yeah.
Yes, like business chemistry, where you are infusing your logic and your emotions. Yes.
Yeah.
But we just, like you said, we admit that it's not as easy as that, because I'm thinking
it's going to be a journey. Trust me, it's going to be a journey.
I think I always advocate, like I advocate for employees. I always advocate for CEOs. I see CEOs also struggling, struggling to do everything they're doing, running a business, struggling to run a family, struggling they're just doing a lot of things, So sometimes, like I remember when the pandemic started, and people were saying, oh, CEOs should please go ahead and pay people in advance, maybe like 2-3 months, and all of those things. And I remember tweeting in response to one of them that you will soon say CEOs should give their blood. What your government is supposed to be doing for you is what an average CEO is doing.
Yeah.
And the person, I said, when you say they should give 3 months advance, where do you expect them to get the money from? Mind you, I increased salaries a month before the COVID. So we didn't have a problem, and all that. We always did. We had always done some things digitally and we were safe. But then I put myself in the shoes of an average person. When you say 2-3 months, nobody saw this pandemic. Nobody, even futurists, didn't see it. And then you're asking for 2-3 months, allowance in a scenario where they may not end for the next 2-3 months also. And I'm like, we should all hold the government responsible. So it is usually that I'm not sure if the word is balanced, because this is already balanced, but sometimes I just think that, sometimes I just think that we should also, I just have a little expectation, maybe just a little more from employees.
And see, thank you so much for bringing that up. And if I suggested it, I apologize. And see, Yemi Fashion is going to speak.
I'm just playing the devil's advocate.
No, and it works. It's okay. Yemi Fashion is going to speak soon, and I know he will deal with that sufficiently. The word actually is balance, right? You don't want entitled employees, and you don't want a business owner that is also not showing understanding.
Yes.
So the word is balance. See, if you trust me, I'm speaking from some level of experience. It is hard, but it is the right sustainable thing to do, because guess what? If you have truly provided that environment, if you have truly done your bit as the business owner, as a leader in the environment, and people trust and see you, like they say, leadership without willing followership is not balanced, right?
Yeah.
If you have really done that, it's your employees, it's your colleagues that will sit you down and say, "Oh God, don't worry, we see the problem, we see the talent. What can we do? What do we need to let go? Let me suspend this bonus. Let me suspend that. Oh, let's do it this way. Let's do it." It's your employees, or even if you have to engage them, you will have some sense of right. I don't have any other word to use to say, you know what, I can talk to my people. And you would believe down that your people will listen to you, right?
Yeah.
And yeah. So that is balance actually.
Yeah. I'm on your side. I just needed to play the Nigerian.
And I love that. Thanks for doing it. Yeah.
So we have two questions here.
It's hard, but it's possible.
Yes, I totally agree. The first question is, how exactly can we help people to discover themselves in the workplace? Are there tools or yardsticks?
Again, I will always advise, the way we look at it in HR is we call it gate to gate, right? From the entry point to exit, provide that support for your talent and your employees. And there are many tools. There are personality assessment tools that you can use to, even at the point of so you've defined your own culture, right? You know the kind of business or organization you want to have. As you are bringing people in, be clear about the way you are assessing the people, and you're checking whatever report you're getting against your own expectations. And I'm not going to name a particular tool here, but there are loads and loads of tools online to check for personality, to even check for function, how suitable they are to certain functions, right? All those things are there. And to line managers and business owners, coaching is no longer just a profession that, hey, I'm a coach, I'm this and that. It's a tool for leadership. It's a tool for engagement. So learn coaching and use that to engage your people. There are many more, but I like to emphasize those two. And there's the almighty, open, sincere conversation. Let's just sit down. Let's leave work. Talk to me about you. Tell me your fears and your aspirations. And then in doing that, you discover your
people. Thank you so much. We have two more questions. One says, please, how can you solve the issue of resentment you talked about when you feel no value has been added over time, no growth opportunity?
Yeah. Very interesting. They say that curiosity is the mother of invention, right? I have personally seen in my experience and from study that before curiosity is confusion, actually. So the moment you start feeling some level of resentment and uneasy about your current role or about your current job, see, there are better people on this platform who are specialists on the emotions bit. They can talk to you about the different emotions and what it means. There are symptoms, there are signals. So I won't like to get into in space at all. There are signals telling you something is not right or something needs to change, right? There are pointers that you need to pay attention. So that the moment you're feeling uneasy, call it growth. I like to call it growth pants. Something is about to come out, or you're becoming uneasy because you need to check something else. So retreat and start asking yourself that question: why am I uneasy? What is next on the way? What do I need to give birth to? What else do I need to discover? So ask yourself. It begins first with you before it goes on the outside. That's what I would advise. And if you need help, seek a career coach or a counselor that can walk you through that structured process. But once you start feeling uneasy and you get a sense that it's time, it may not always mean you leave the organization. It may just mean you need to change your job role or you change your environment, change something. But once you start having that prompting, that sense of, pain is a signal. Pain is a signal, and it gives us real feedback. So that's what I would advise. Go introspect and then seek a career coach to walk you through it.
Thank you so much, Mr. T. For the person who asked, you can also visit thementalhealthmall.com to work with a career coach. It is one of the most affordable platforms. The Mental Health Mall, THE, mentalhealthmall.com. There are over 45 specialist coaches and therapists there that you can get at an extremely affordable rate and for mighty and massive value. If we need to get in touch or reach you, Mr. G, where can we find you, please?
You've given me different versions of my name today. So it's Benga Totoi, Benga Totoi, or GT for short. Well, this is my name anywhere, everywhere online. Benga Totoi, from LinkedIn or through Twitter or Facebook. That's my name. You can always reach me there, send me a DM, and we can take the conversation further.
Thank you so much. We appreciate your time. We appreciate your expertise. And thank you for sharing this incredible value with us. Thank you for being with us at the Emotional Intelligence Week 2020. We would allow you to take a chill and then just chill at our lounge, rest, eat all of the small chops, the virtual small chops, the Olambears. My team members are waiting to say.
I say audio, right?
My team members are waiting to digitally feed you and to take care of you. But trust me, it was beautiful. And then I loved the statement, growth pangs. You know, I liked that. You know, it is one of the things I would infuse in my vocabulary now. And you'll be proud of me when
I'm happy you got that. Thank you so much.
You'll be proud of me when I use it. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful evening, sir.
You too. Yeah, bye.
Thank you. Bye. Okay, that was the first session with the incredible HR personnel, Mr. Benga Totoi. And then he spoke to us on how to preserve the human in the human resource. I hope you were able to learn fantastic and good number of things like I did. If you joined in a little bit late, the recording will be available right after today's session, the same handle, and you will be able to consume, devour, and share with your friends. I would not waste too much time. I would onboard my second guest, second speaker for tonight. Her name is BC Soji Oyawuye. I will be introducing her and I will be inviting her to take over and take us to the next level. Yeah, so BC is the lead consultant and CEO of Bicausative Limited, a professional training and coaching company. She's also the founder of Clarity Design Hub, the art and science of increasing your personal and professional power. She worked in the oil and gas sector for 30 years. While in her 30-year job, she was the first integrated travel center coordinator, the first female aviation supervisor in Escravos operations, and the first female logistics superintendent. She takes her life journey from secretary to CEO. BC is the transformational life coach, an emotional intelligence certified specialist, an executive director, and a member of the President's Advisory Council of the John Maxwell team. A Maxwell certified DISC behavioral consultant, she is also a WIMBIZ mentor as well as a director of Lemon and Feathers, making elderly living easier. Please welcome with me one and only Mrs. BC Soji Oyawuye.
How are you?
Beautiful, thank you. And how are you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me well?
Yes, we can see you, we can hear you, and you look really beautiful and regal. What's going on?
I had to put on some red for Emotion City.
I got you. I feel you. So over to you as I take my seat to learn and you take us to the next level of the Emotional Intelligence Week 2020.
Thank you so much, Oyinko. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity to deal with such great minds in this place and to learn from you and also add value to you. I mean, yesterday was so amazing and deep. I learned a lot from Dr. Melina, Ezekiel, and Isaac. I mean, they gave us the King James version yesterday. So today I'll be giving you the Revised Standard version. I'm glad to be speaking alongside three strong men. One of them just finished. Major, well done. I celebrate you all. So just so you are aware, I'll be speaking at 500 words per minute because I have a lot to say in 30 minutes. I mean, when I listened yesterday, I said, oh my goodness, this is so good, I need to give them some more. So I will also be using a lot of acronyms. So please pay attention and help me type wherever you can catch whatever you can catch in the chat box. Emotion City, I'm going to save your indulgence for these 5 additional minutes is my one over time. So I am an honorary third class degree holder from a prestigious third class university in Nigeria. If you went to the University of Illinois, let me hear in the chat box. I graduated in 1986. Just so you know, I am the daughter of an architect, the sister to 2 architects, and the mother of 2 aspiring architects. I'm also an architect, but not by degree. I'm an architect by design. I am the daughter of the architect of architects, the architect of the universe, God, God, the grand overall designer. So the other architects design buildings, I design life. They build buildings, I build people. I help people to live into their fullest potential so that they can fulfill their purpose. Now, I do not say this to impress you, but to impress upon you that content may be changed, but context is its kingdom. I'm sharing from one of my signature programs which I call my Five Alive. I will talk a little on purpose, vision, and goals, as well as the A, B, and C of my Five Alive. I mean, may that did well lay the foundation of this world. Because we talk about finding out who you really are. I believe this will help you deepen your peace and increase profitability and productivity because wherever you go professionally, you take you with you personally. And the you that is not going professionally will sabotage the you that is going personally. So my 5 alive are just 5 so much that I believe make up the curriculum in this university called life. Am I good?
Worst.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, you are good, but I think that you can be better. Can you please move forward? We're losing some of your nuggets. We don't want to miss any part of the video. Yes. We want
Better?
everything. Yes. So can I hear you again, please?
Okay, so I was talking about my 5 so much.
Fantastic. So let's go. Yes. So we can hear you now.
I'm so sorry. So my 5 soul maps, like I was saying, I believe are what make up the curriculum in this university called life that has no graduation date. It provides you with a blueprint for success with clarity of purpose and vision, as well as a plan for your goals. This 5 Alive helps you keep anchored on the seas when they are rough, and they help you still the storm as you align with purpose. They keep you centered when things seem to be falling apart, even as you start to feel no longer at ease. Because this journey of life is not a straight line. It comes with detours and obstacles. Now, these are really unprecedented times, as we already know. First, it was the coronavirus. It just felt like all of a sudden God pressed the reset button for the universe. Maybe just to remind us that He is God all by Himself. Everything seemed to be moving at the speed of light until God said, hey guys, pause, man. I need you to go at the speed of trust. Now, coronavirus is being put somewhere else. It is the race virus in the USA. And I dare say the rape virus in Nigeria. Several lives being lost for no just cause. It is humanity dehumanized. Period. End of story. So apart from the health pandemic, there is the cultural pandemic, the financial pandemic, spiritual pandemic, if you ask me, relational pandemic. There's just so much going on, a global pandemic. What is the world becoming? Better still, who are we becoming? Because we make up the world. Transformation starts with us as individuals. We shouldn't try to change other individuals or change the nation if we can't even change us, our own hearts, our souls. So I believe this is a good time on a personal level to review the key areas of our lives, to pause, to reflect, to rest, to rejuvenate, to renew, to reset, and then to re-enter, to check if there be any pandemic or any endemic in any area of our lives that needs to be addressed. Because guess what? This too shall pass. The question is, when it passes, who will I have become? Since we are all evolving, we are becoming. When God activates the replay button, because He will, who will I be? And where will I be? Now, when faced with the crisis, the immediate tendency is to be overwhelmed with fear and to focus on self-preservation at all costs. However, crisis can also present new opportunities for growth and innovation. So we may be on lockdown physically, but surely we are not on lockdown spiritually or mentally or emotionally or intellectually or otherwise. As Winston Churchill said, never waste a good crisis, never. For some, the crisis is happening to them. For others, it is happening in them. For yet others, it is happening for them. So what is your response or reaction to the crisis? Please note that while some businesses may be going under, others are just beginning to emerge. Because where there is a casting down, you know there's always a lifting up. So let's shift our perspective and harvest the good in this situation. Like my people say, shine your eye and stay woke. Stay woke. Now, my 5 Alive is not the juice that we drink, but it is the juice of life. The curriculum of this university called life. It simply is a term I coined to refer to the 5 key areas of life. Your soul maps. The race crisis and the rape crisis are problems of the heart, of the soul, because we don't have a soul. We are a soul. So my 5 Alive is a playful yet profound way to capture the key areas of life that points you toward a future that is authentic, that is vital, that is core directed. It helps you emerge with a thorough and somewhat surprising grasp of who you are and who you are becoming. The dimensions of my 5 Alive all of them begin with the letter F. I love to keep things simple and fun because life is hard and complicated enough. The 5 F's are faith, family, finance, fitness, and flourish. So the first F for me is faith, and it refers to your spirituality and your oneness with God. It is acknowledging your connectedness with God rather than seeing yourself as separate from Him. Our programming from childhood has us believing that we are separate from God because we are different. We may be different, but we are uniquely created in His image. We are all connected to Him, and we are connected to one another. We are co-creators with Him, and in Him, we are enough, even though sometimes we may feel inadequate. I own my own birthright, which is having dominion over all things. I own that through a better relationship with God. I claim my dominion, my abundance mindset, my fullness. I claim that. And I claim my I amness in Him, having confidence that I am one with the I am that I am. I know who I am and I know whose I am. So my question to you at this point is, do you know who you are? Are you aware of who you are and whose you are? The next F is for family. This represents all things relationships. We are all relational spirit beings. There are all kinds of relationships and connections that we make, and they are key. So we have primary love relationships, friendships, colleagues, business partners and associates, your network, online, offline, in person, long distance, social distance, whatever. Life revolves around relationships. None of us exist in silo. The interpersonal connections that we all have drive so much of what we experience and create in our lives. So to live your best life, you cannot ignore the connections you must create and nurture with key individuals and key groups of people. Relationships matter. People matter, even though people can be the greatest source of conflict. So your network is your net worth and it is your net world. You are the average of the 5 people that you hang out with. My parents used to tell us, they would say to us, show me your friends and I will tell you who you are. So who is in your inner circle, in your destiny team, your personal board of directors, the ones who can look you straight in the eye and tell you the truth and keep you on the straight and narrow, the ones who can call you out when necessary? Who is on that team with you? You must also understand that some people come into your life for a reason. Some people come into your life for a season, and some people come into your life for a lifetime. So as you understand the times and seasons of your life and of life, you need to review this family dimension and do some weeding and pruning. Review your contacts on social media, your phones, your mailing lists, and be bad. B-A-D. You need to block and delete anyone or anything that is not serving you. Anyone or anything that is draining your energy emotionally, physically, or otherwise. You know how after talking to some people, you just feel so drained and completely exhausted. Like you literally lose weight. Anyone that you have allowed rental space in your mind and is not paying rent, you need to let go of these things. And those people that you are holding on to mentally, emotionally, and physically, and focus on only quality people, OQP. Upgrade your relationships, because who you hang out with will influence your mind mentally, emotionally, and physically. Who you hang out with will impact your intellect and your income. The next F is for fitness, which is your health and your body tempo. It includes your physical, mental, and emotional well-being. How are you treating this physical body that God gifted you? Your destiny is likened to a destination. Don't kill the horse that is meant for the journey. When last did you go for an annual medical checkup? When last? Many people look well, but really they are not well because of what they may be going through. People are going through stuff. They're going through personal pandemics. And we may not look like what we are going through. That's the truth. But the truth is, you really have no idea what people are dealing with in their personal life. So if you have a choice to be kind or to be right, please choose to be kind. Choose to preserve what it is to be human. So what kind of lifestyle do you have? How are you exercising, especially in this lockdown? Pay attention to what you are paying attention to. Pay attention to what you are eating, knowing that you are what you eat. Also, pay attention to what you are hearing and seeing with all that is going on around the world, because though you may be what you eat, but what you eat may also be eating you. And what you eat includes what you are looking at and who you are listening to, especially at this time. Are you listening to constant negative news constantly? What is your mental state? How are you? I mean, really, how are you? Dr. May asked that question yesterday. How are you protecting your emotional space? This is the time to really guard your heart with all diligence, for out of it flows the issues of life. So, feed your faith and starve your fears by securing your gates. Mind what enters your thoughts and your soul, especially through your ears and your eyes. Like my friend says, she's in the US, she says, beware of the ants, A-N-T, avoid negative thoughts. And wear your mask, not just the physical mask, but the emotional mask. M for meditation, A for affirmations. You may be vexed, but turn your vexations to vocalizations. Those are your affirmations. S, sleep well. And K, be kind. Now, this crisis has us all locked down with the same people in the same space at the same time for such a long period. Many relationships are broken down because they're not used to being in the same space together for such a long time, and with so much time on their hands. So there's an increasing need for us to be more emotionally intelligent at this time, especially in this lockdown. We should be learning not just to manage our emotions, but to master them. We must have self-control, knowing that whoever has no control, no rule over his own spirit, is like a city that is broken down without walls. The truth is, if you do not master yourself, master your emotions privately, you will be disgraced publicly. If you do not name and tame your emotions in private, they will shame you in the public game of life. Any surprises with the race pandemic in the US and the rape pandemic in Nigeria? Self-control is so key. Now is a great time to be more aware of yourself and of other people. Now is a great time to learn to build rapport and manage relationships, to learn to be the dominant energy in the room, to be the thermostat rather than the thermometer, knowing that the person with the higher level of awareness has responsibility for the relationship. Then there's the F for finance, which is the freedom and the flow of our time and our money. This one needs no long explanation. We all love money. Anyhow you call it, in any language, it is that thing that makes you just able to breathe and exhale. We know that it is God that gives us the power to create wealth. We also know that we are created in his image. So how creative are you at this time especially? How well do you tap into God's creativity in your life? And the last F is what I call flourish. This includes your personal development, your business development, your career development, and your professional development. Now, the foundation of bedrock of this flourish dimension for me is your personal development. And remember, I said that the you that is not growing personally will sabotage the you that is growing professionally or careerly, if I may use that word, or businessly. And wherever you grow professionally, you will take you with you personally. So the best investment of your money and your time is the one invested in you. Invest in yourself, please. Set aside time every day that you will spend working on and investing in yourself. Don't be conformed to the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Read a few pages of something positive every day. Listen to audio programs over and over again. Faith comes by hearing, and repetition breeds retention. We have this treasure in earthen vessels. You have something special. Nurture and develop that greatness that is within you, because the world is waiting for your manifestation. Furthermore, be willing to invest in a coach. Even coaches need coaches. I have coaches, and I know Oyinko has coaches. I always say a coach without a coach is a cockroach, a big one of that. Now, these 5 dimensions, the 5 F's of your 5 alive, are what you need to look into at this time to see if there be any pandemic or endemic therein. It's all about looking inwards and understanding your current state. And like a GPS, course correct as necessary to enable you position yourself strategically for your desired future state. Where are you now? Where do you want to be? What is your plan to get you from where you are today to where you want to be in the future? So you can use this time to set or reset your goals in alignment with your vision and your purpose in the 5 key areas of your life, so that you can really deepen your peace and improve your performance and productivity. Remember, and you know, purpose is simply what God created you to be. It is why you do what you do. It is your reason for being at all. It is the heart of the matter. I call it the cocoa of the matter. It is your North Star. It is like the sun. Everything revolves around it. It is what I call the GPS of your life, because it serves as a filter through which you will make most of your decisions, if not all of them. For instance, if I want to take a decision now, I want to do something, the question I ask myself is, how is it aligned to my purpose or my vision? If it is not aligned, it is easy for me to say no, waka pass and go. If it is aligned, it is easy for me to say yes to the opportunity. But now, if you don't know your purpose, not a problem. Your purpose is to discover your purpose. Because like Miles Monroe said, until the purpose of a thing is known, abuse is inevitable. You were created by God to be a star, S-T-A-R. And you have a unique shape, S-H-A-P-E. The S-T-A-R, you have S for skills, T for talents, A for abilities, and R for resources. And the shape, the S is for your spiritual gifts that you need to unwrap. The H is for your heart that needs to be listened to. The A is for your abilities that need to be applied. The P, Benga spoke about this, your personality that needs to be used. And the E, experiences that need to be employed. You must understand your shape and use it accordingly to become the star that you were created to be. Otherwise, you will abuse it. From your purpose, you draw your vision, which is the picture of your emerging future. Simply put, your vision is the picture of your future. But you cannot feature in the future that you cannot picture. It is your dream, an inspiring picture of the future that energizes your mind, your will, and your emotions, empowering you to do everything you want to do and achieve it. For where there's no vision, the people perish. And as Helen Keller says, eyesight without vision is worse than blindness. So what dream, what vision, what image of the future are you holding in your mind, in your 5 alive, the 5 key areas of your life? So we've defined a purpose for our lives. We write out the vision for what the purpose could look like. And then we begin to set goals and bring them forward. Goals are simply the measuring marks that we set to confirm that we are living out of our purpose and our vision. They represent the answer to either the pulling of our desire, that was the confusion that he was talking about, or the pushing of our discontent. Note though that the entire purpose of a goal is not just to achieve something, but to cause you to stretch and to grow, to become that person that can achieve and create that thing that you want, to get better, to create enough tension in your life so that you will develop the intention and take action. Take the next step in the fulfillment of your vision, your dream, and your ideal. Now, writing down your goals is so powerful and critical because it is the first step, the first physical manifestation of your vision. The questions that you should ask yourself regarding goals are: number one, what is your goal in each area of your fiber life? Number two, why is this goal so important to you? Number three, what steps are you willing to take to achieve the goal? And number four, by what date will you achieve the goal? Understanding that the purpose of the date is simply to create a sense of urgency, which includes speed and importance once you have determined the direction that you want to go. It is your best guess, so you need to answer those questions. Now, it is as we take action that the plan unfolds. With action comes clarity. Some of us are simply doing nothing, and we are praying. We keep praying for God to help us when He has already given us all that we need, and He has gifted us with the necessary resources. Don't get me wrong, we need to pray. But as we pray, we need to do something. Faith without works is dead. God will not do for us that which He can only do with and through us. So I have shared a bit of my 5 alive and the need to have a purpose, a vision, and the goals in those areas. The last thing I will leave with you mentioning at this time is that as we go on life's journey, we need to take responsibility and accountability for our existence. That there are 3 things that are critical to moving forward in this fiber life, and I refer to them as the ABC of the fiber life. A is for awareness. Awareness is the first step of transformation and the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. It is, in fact, the king of emotional intelligence. Oyinko calls it KSA, not King Sunny Ade. King self-awareness. It is what separates us as humans from animals. You must know yourself to grow yourself. So the question to ask is, what is your level of awareness in each of the 5 key areas of your 5 alive? Of what good is it to have financial security if you are spiritually void? Of what use is it to have a deep spiritual awareness and then lack the funds, the finance to help yourself and help other people who are in need? Of what use is your spiritual or financial intelligence when you are emotionally bankrupt? How can you say you are truly successful? How can you deepen your peace and increase performance and profitability? How can you be the best version of you, who you were created to be, if you are not intentionally and consciously self-aware and operating at your very best in all the key areas of your fiber life? What you are not aware of, you cannot be aware of, and you will not care about, not to talk of dare about it. You cannot control what you are not aware of. We want to consistently practice being fully present in the present and in His presence. So, how aware are you? How conscious are you? The next letter is the B for belief. This is critical to deepening your peace and improving your performance and productivity, because we do not perform to our goals, we perform to our beliefs, to our programming. We have been tattooed from the crib by the beliefs of our tribe. Some of us are even still being controlled from the grave by the beliefs that our ancestors have passed on to us. We need to challenge the convictions of our belief, knowing that belief drives behavior. We never outperform our own self-belief or self-image. Make an appointment with the mirror to examine your beliefs. This is what it means to influence at cause. This is the law of cause and effect. The law of all laws. Everything has as its ancestry thought. What kind of thoughts are you running in your system? As you think into your thinking in this regard and review your purpose, your vision, and your goals in your fiber life, you will find that when you get to the end of the road, your ladder will not be leaning against the wrong wall. Because James Allen puts it this way: until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. So our thoughts are impressed upon our feelings, and that causes a vibrational reaction in our bodies that cause us to form habits and take action, which ultimately produce our results. That is the creative process. So take a look at your current results. How do you like them? We must always challenge the convictions of our beliefs, knowing that you become what you think. That what you think about, you bring about. When you make agreement with the limiting beliefs that you have been programmed with, we become stuck. Even when our spirit is yearning to be more, to do more, and to have more. So, how aware are you and how able are you to take the helm of thought, to take captive every thought, and to think more empowered thoughts, so that you can really live your life by design rather than by default? For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And as he continues to think, so he remains. Inner transformation will always precede outer transformation. We need to identify and remove the virus in our belief system that is controlling that which we want. Carl Jung says, and I think it was Isaac who made mention of it yesterday, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. I say, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it a spiritual attack. This is why I encourage people to be causative and continue to challenge the convictions of their belief. Things must change in you for things to change for you. You need to uninstall any apps in your life that is not serving you and install new apps that will serve you. Challenge the convictions of your belief and create new beliefs. There are 10 ways to do that, but I'm not going to go into that now. We are simply creatures of habits, and habits are tough to break. Warren Buffett says, chains of habits are too light to be felt until they are too heavy to be broken. So, what habits do you currently have in your fiber life, in each area of your life, that you expect will move you closer to your goals and your dreams, or deepen your peace, or improve your performance and productivity? What habits do you have that will strategically position you to thrive in these times and beyond? What are your daily habits? Because the secret of your success is determined by your daily agenda. What are you going to do differently in each of these key areas of your life? Examine yourself. For as Socrates says, an unexamined life is not worth living. The last one is the C, which stands for constructive questions. As we evaluate our current state in our fiber life, we may find that we self-sabotage a lot. We self-sabotage based on our beliefs. So you need to guard your speech. Never speak of yourself, of your affairs, or anything else in a discouraging, or disempowering way. We may be stuck in some emotionally disempowering states in any of those areas. And oftentimes, what gets us to these disempowering states is disempowering questions. So the answer to turning this around is the power of constructive questions. Get out of this static, disempowering states by asking empowering questions, and you will get yourselves into empowering states where you make empowering statements to yourself and you are able to ask questions that move you on closer to where you want to go. The quality of the questions you ask determine the quality of the answers that you will get. So whenever you hear yourself self-sabotaging or saying stuff that don't serve you or move you closer in your dream, those are awareness alarms that you need to pay attention to. Catch yourself. And when you are thinking negative thoughts as well, catch yourself, course correct immediately by reframing what you are thinking or saying, and pivot. Ask constructive questions that will make emotional transformations required to train your neural pathways. In short, retrain your brain. So in closing, life will set examination questions that you will have to answer. How we react or respond will depend on the application of the knowledge that we have been gathering, especially in this lockdown. We've gathered a lot of knowledge. But one of the greatest gaps in life is the gap between what we know and what we do. Oh yes, most of us know what to do. We just don't do what we know. Knowing how to do something has never accomplished anything. Never. We keep gathering all kinds of information, but if we don't have the belief that allows us to export it, or we lack the awareness to express what we know, we will not do anything. And that is really what continues to keep us stuck in a particular place. We continue to improve shelf life rather than improve self-life. So if you are stuck, ask yourself, am I doing what I know to do? Because it's not the knowledge that matters, it is the willingness to do what you know. We must learn to take risks and build your muscles in the gym of life, in your fiber life. And when we do that with 3 Ds: desire, determination, and the last word is a word that is not so sexy: discipline. Now, in the light of what I've shared above, anybody still sitting around waiting for when this pandemic is going to be over or when work is going to resume, I beg you, it's a big joke, because work has resumed. Life never stopped. As Eric Hoffer says, in times of change, learners inherit the earth, while the learned find themselves beautifully equipped to deal with a world that no longer exists. You see, the war going on now is not just a war against the coronavirus or the race virus or the rape virus. It is a war against our attention and our intention. There are just too many distractions, too many conflicting and competing commitments, too much negativity that is affecting our psychology and physiology, our thoughts, and it ultimately affects our results. We need to pay attention to what we are paying attention to, so that this tension can turn into intention, knowing that this too shall pass. Without clear outcomes, energy dissipates. When life gives you lemons, it is said that you make lemonade. But I add that when life gives you lemons, you not only make lemonade. To your lemonade, add some ice and a dash of spice. Better still, when life gives you lemon, you only accept it if that is what you have ordered from life. If you haven't ordered lemons and you know you don't want lemons, Biko, throw the lemons back and make a new order from life. You don't have to play the hand that life deals you. You can throw the cards back and demand from life a new hand. Life doesn't give you what you want. Life gives you who you are. Question to you is, who are you? That is back to the awareness part. This is why you need to really look at your fiber life, the 5 key areas of your life, and evaluate your purpose, your vision, and your goals. Assess critically, you know that school start question. Assess critically your level of awareness. Challenge the convictions of your beliefs and ask constructive questions of the person looking in the mirror. Finally, my brethren, I leave you with James Allen's quotes, that the vision that you glorify in your mind, the ideal that you enthrone in your heart, this you will live your life by, and this you will become. With these few words of mine, I hope I have been able to convince you and not confuse you further in this lockdown, to take a deep dive into your fiber life so that you can stay alive and not just survive, but thrive. Examine your 5 soul maps, the 5 key areas of your life, your 5 alive, so that you can really deepen your peace, improve your performance, and increase your productivity. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. Be positive and continue to be well. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Mrs. Bese Soji Oyawoye. Thank you. I'm just going to allow people to soak all of the things that you said in. And in about 60 seconds, I would expect them to please share or give us feedback at the comment section. I was able to write a couple of things. You know, at a point, I was saying to myself that, wow, that this is like you just sandwich a lot of value, you know, and I hope that I hope that they can really devour and all of that. But I suspect that they were really writing. I specifically, a particular quote came to my mind that faith without works is scam.
Absolutely.
It just popped in my mind that faith without works is scam. I also saw if you don't master your emotions privately, you'll be disgraced publicly. You know, I like all of those kind of things.
I know.
You know, then I liked the bad OQP amongst so many others. Like I can see people's feedback here saying, I am speechless. Somebody says, what is the STAR acronym? You have to pay for it. You have to buy the thing. We are not telling you. You have to buy the thing. I'll tell you where to get it. You have to buy the thing. You have to buy the tape. Then I also saw your darling husband, Mr. Soji Oyawoye, in the building. I also saw Adiola all the way from the United Kingdom, your daughter in the building, and then so many good people. So let's talk. Comment section. How was this? How was this? What are your wow moments? If you have any questions, yes, we can respond to them. What are your wow moments? I am so excited. I really, really loved everything she shared. The acronyms, very tangible, accessible, and you can easily, get that. And then the 5 Alive is one of her trademarks, so it is not that all of us now have the same 5 Alive. No. Like, that is her trademark. That is her 5 Alive. So she owns it, and then it is her intellectual property. And then you can see her products and organizations from Clarity Design Hub to our company, which is the Corsative. So the feedback is all the acronyms that she shared are intellectual property. The essence of this is for you also to develop. So this is a stepping stone, leverage on this and also get yourself. So I'm seeing feedback. People are saying awesome presentation. I was wild. Should we pass the offering basket around now that the spirit is
we need offering?
I think it's flowing. I don't want to waste this spirit. Okay, improve self, not shelf. Yes. And improve yourself, not your wardrobe. Because, for me, okay, so maybe I should just start with the questions. If you also have a question, we have about 5 minutes before we welcome the next speaker. But if you also have a question, please share the comment section and we'll, of course, share it with her. So I have a question. I keep wondering, not that I don't know the answer, but I'm just in awe of it, where I think that an average Nigerian, and I am specifying because I've spent a good number of my life here, not anywhere else. I think that an average Nigerian has a challenge investing in themselves. That's number one. Number two is I think that an average Nigerian feels entitled counseling and coaching. I don't, it looks to me like because they get counseling at their different worship centers, they think that people owe them the right to listen to them or to help them. Like, it is just funny when I receive on the average of about 3 to 20 DMs, depending on what's happening in the country. If it is not a good time, 3 to 50. And then I see that people keep saying, oh, I want to talk to you. And I'm like, yes, but you have to go through my team, book a session, this and that. And then in their mind, they are wondering why they are paying. And I'm wondering also why I should listen to them for free. Like, if you cannot invest in yourself, why should I invest in you? Like, what
you've answered the question, you've answered the question. If you cannot invest in,
enter my DM and place a demand on my time, which is the most valuable resource I have, and then you expect me to listen to you free, like, how? What's going on? So what do you think? Why does it look like we have a challenge engaging help, like professional help? Would rather look for it for free, would rather play around it. What do you think?
So like I said, I think you've answered it, first of all, by saying that if you don't invest in yourself, why should anybody invest in you? If you don't invest in yourself, it means you don't value you enough to spend a life force on you. Life force being your time, your talent, and your treasure. If you don't spend on you, why should I spend on you? And people should get out of that entitlement mentality and get into the space of humility. You are asking somebody for advice. They will tell you, give me some advice. I would have given you advice before I invested in myself to become a coach. Now that I'm in my coach, that is my daily bread. So if I'm advising you, I am giving you of myself, of my time, of my resources, and I expect to be compensated for it. A workman is worthy of his wages. Even when I go to speak at churches, I tell them, do not give me an honorarium of a basket of fruit. Otherwise, I will pay my tithe in fruit. So people should get off that mind. It's a mindset that needs to be broken. And I think it's a poverty mindset. If you don't have the mindset of abundance, you will expect things for free. You need to move from flee from free to fee. When you invest in yourself and you pay more, I know how much you pay for your coach. I know how much I pay for somebody to coach me. When I invest that amount in myself, I expect you to also invest in yourself. I do not need the money you are bringing to me. I am delivering value, and I should be compensated for value. If I choose to offer value for free, that's my choice, not your entitlement. So I don't even waste time with people who, because that's a different thing. They need to go for deliverance first. Mindset shaking. You need to come to the awareness of self that you are worth it to invest in yourself. If you are not at that awareness level, there's another coach for you. It doesn't have to be me.
Oh!
And I have people I coach for free, but they have earned the right to be coached for free. They have earned that right. I hope I've answered the question.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. Yes. So somebody was asking a question. Another person has given her the response, and that is fantastic. If you still have other questions, please send your questions in. When she was talking about coaching and all of that, I spend an average of $6,000, which is roughly about 2.5 million naira every year in coaching. You know, and I'm one person that I do not have a challenge investing in you. I just have a challenge in you not investing in yourself. I have a challenge with an entitlement spirit. You know,
Right.
let me offer you my service. Don't think that you deserve my service just because you exist. Just because you exist does not mean I should give you my time or my energy or my expertise. I am not the one who made you exist. I am not in charge of your existence. So there's no way you can place a demand on me just because you exist. It must be deeper than that. You know, and if you're a professional here and you haven't started placing value on your expertise, on your access, that is the most important thing you can have. Yeah, access to you is extremely important, and you should please not take it for granted. Questions, please. If you have any questions, let's ask one or two more questions, and then she will send and inform us of where we can find her. Any other questions? If you also haven't subscribed to our channel yet, because I know that you are kind, please do so. Just express and show your.
Let me mention something here. Maybe they don't know. Oyinko and I paid Oyinko to get certified as an emotional intelligence certified specialist. It wasn't free. We became friends since then. I call her my friend. I paid her for her soul stripping spa. I could have said, I should be Paddy now. There's no Paddy in this thing. I paid for soul stripping spa that created the name Clarity Design Hub, which you see today. So don't take people for granted. Invest in people and invest in you and watch the seeds multiply. Some people are stuck and broke because of the way they even treat themselves. If you don't invest in you, for crying out loud, where is the harvest going to come from? If I don't let's shake the table any further. Okay.
No, let's just. Where can we find you? So some people are interested in reaching out to you for more clarity, more help, anything. Where can they find you, please?
They can find me on Instagram, Facebook. What's that third one? LinkedIn, BC Soji Oyawoye. In fact, I have a gift for everybody that tuned in today and yesterday on my Instagram bio. Go to my bio and click on the link that says ebook Be Positive. Download the ebook for free. I'm taking it down in 24 hours because it's a paid program on my website, bepositive.net. It's a paid thing there, but I put it up just for this emotional intelligence week. From yesterday till tomorrow evening. I'm taking it down tomorrow evening. So go there quickly and download it for free. That's where you're going to find me.
Thank you so much, Mrs. BC Soji Oyawoye. Once again, please go ahead and download her material. You have listened to her. That you should know by now that she has a lot of value to offer. And then beyond downloading for free, invest in clarity. Clarity Design Hub is extremely key. If you also check the comment section, after today's program, we also have a 5-day follow-up session So you can join our mailing list. Just check it. The follow-up sessions are available on the mailing list where I'm having conversations with you and all that. But beyond just saying thank you to her, thank you so much for being a part of the Emotional Intelligence Week 2020. Thank you for being a part of Emotion City. Thank you for being a part of the Soul Stripping Spa. And thank you for all of the things that you're doing. Everybody that is speaking to us at this particular time is going above and beyond, because we are all trying to survive a pandemic. And despite the fact that all of us are experiencing some level of emotional instabilities and yes, emotional instability, we are still ensuring that we're on top of our game. So the deal is not perfection. It is about daily improvement. Once again, on behalf of Emotion City, thank you so much, Mrs. Bisi Sojoyawe, for spending your time sharing your life. And I see your family members here praising you, chanting you up, doing all of those things. Mr. Sojoyawe is also here. Angela is here, and all the good people of Emotion City saying, yes, go alumni, go, 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 go. So I see members of the faculty appreciating you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Guys, hope you guys are learning. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Bisi Ojawe.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Hope you guys are really learning. I am learning so fast. The next speaker is here. The next speaker is here. He's one of the faces and voices of human resource in Nigeria. I will introduce him in about 60 seconds and we'll welcome him on board. And then the final speaker, Mr. Innocent Usa, will be rounding off the Emotional Intelligence Week, the digital and the free platform. Tomorrow is the icing on the cake. All of the speakers will gather together with the creator of the brand industry in Nigeria, Mr. Leke Older. Honestly, if you haven't bought the ticket by now, I'm not sure what's going on anymore. But should I say you should buy the ticket? I would think that if you don't buy the ticket, then you are most likely not ready to understand what it is to not just survive in a pandemic, but to build a business that can, to build a global brand. I think that's easier for you, to build a global brand. If you Google the name and the brand Mr. Leke Older, you will know that he is not just, he's not a motivational speaker. He's not a transformational speaker. Extremely simple, deep. He's an encounter and honestly an oracle. That should be enough for you to visit www.emotioncity.com/products. Now to the next speaker, Okay, so I can see feedback. Wow, and the person who gave this comment is actually not somebody who just gives a random comment. Like, I've known her for a while, you know, and anytime she gives a comment, you should drop an offer. So she says, thank you for a passionate session. I think we should just drop Mrs. Bisi Sojoyawe's account details. Because I am her manager, so I should get about 30% of whatever is dropped in, you know, the offering basket. Yeah, thank you so much. It was a passionate session, and I strongly believe it was. So, to my next guest, he's in the building. His name is Yemi, one of the most ordinary and most authentic personalities I have met in Nigeria. Very simple, very ordinary, full of depth, full of insight, and extremely respected. So who exactly is Yemi Fashewu? In my own word, I remember the first time I met him, I was too shocked to believe that we were in the same industry, like in the industry where hype and packaging is the game. You know, why for just like, oh, just call me Yemi. And in my mind, I'm like, I have home training. I have home training. Like, don't let my mother catch me. you know, and it was just so normal that I was suspecting if it was him, maybe he just got a credit a lot or what was making him so kind. But I just observed that is his natural forte, you know. So who exactly is Yemi Fashewu? He's over 20 years HR experience, cuts across major sectors of the Nigerian economy, with proven track record in leading and executing strategic change management initiatives, HR service delivery, organizational design, mergers and acquisitions, to mention a few. He was until recently the head HR partnering, resourcing, and employee relations at Etisalat Nigeria. His last assignment was at FBN Quest Merchant Bank, an investment banking subsidiary of FBN Holdings. He plays leadership roles on various HR professional networks and is reputed for excellent content delivery at various HR and leadership forums. This has led to countless awards for his excellent contribution to human capital development in Nigeria. Yemi has a passion for delivering proven and measurable results and a strong passion for human resource management practices, as evidenced by his experience and formal training. He currently works at Globalcom Nigeria, is happily married with children, and lives in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome with me, the Human Resource Manager Executive Director at Globalcom Nigeria. Mr. Wyatt, welcome to
What's up?
2020.
Good evening. How are you?
Good evening, sir. Thank you for sharing your time and your life with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot.
You are most welcome.
How's it going?
I will be stepping aside to also learn and make use of my notes while I hand over the platform to you.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Okay. Good evening, everyone. And thank you to the organizers for having me. Thank you to Emotion City. I am really, really privileged to be part of this August occasion. And I understand that I have about 30 minutes to just share some thoughts around bringing back the human in human resources. I'm not sure exactly why this topic was given to me, but well, we'll try and see what conversations we can have around this. Okay, so now some sort of background. I think that the workplace is changing drastically and dramatically. It was the buyer's market before now, and I'm talking from a talent perspective, talent management perspective. It was a buyer's market, and we had so many people in the market. Therefore, employers can afford to be anyhow and anything because there will always be individuals in the market for them to choose from. But a couple of things changed in the last, maybe in the last five years to a decade. And gradually, we began to move away from the employer's market to the employee's market. It was gradually becoming the talent market. And that's because of a number of factors, chief of which was the rate at which the future of work was happening to us. For about 2 or 3 years now, we've been preaching the gospel of the future of work. And eventually, before we knew it, the future actually happened to all of us very suddenly. Please confirm that you can still see me. Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I'm struggling a bit. Can you see me? Can you still hear me?
Yeah, we can see you. We can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So the feature started happening a couple of years ago, and we were not so sure exactly how it was going to pan out in the real sense of it until COVID-19 happened. And then when COVID-19 happened, it happened to all of us almost at the same time. And I've said this on a couple of occasions that COVID is a leveler. We all just suddenly got into it. And for those who were ready from the sermons of the future of work of the last couple of years, it was an opportunity for them to just transit, not only from an operational perspective, but also in terms of dealing with the workforce, the employees, and the talent in the organization. So it was almost like a natural transition for them. But not everybody was ready. So we had so many of us getting phone calls about how to deal with the situation at hand because some organizations were just not ready. And that dovetailed to exactly the way talents have been managed over the years. So this is what I say. The element of the workforce that was so vital, which is the experience that we have on a day-to-day basis in the workplace, began to make some sort of very critical meaning to not just leadership, but also to team leads and supervisors and all that. we suddenly realized that we had moved dramatically from a job satisfaction perspective to we moved to employee engagement. From there, we moved to employee experience. But right now, what we are all witnessing, or what we must all witness as we gradually move back to the workplaces, is the human experience in the workplace. I have had also several conversations in the last maybe 6 to 8 weeks with some of my colleagues in the HR profession, and it's not been too easy managing the workforce from home. Like you remember, I said that some organizations were ready, but so many organizations were not ready. It just happened, and then we were all working from home. But it also brought to the fore the fact that working from home was not as easy as we thought. Because, okay, maybe I have a small space in my house right now where I can do all my office work, but some other individuals actually struggle with space. They struggle with family encroaching into space. They struggle with, for instance, a nursing mother who needed to be on Zoom meetings, but at the same time taking care of the baby. We struggle with women taking care of the home, and also at the same time making sure that the deliverables for the office is also met. We struggle with so many things, and so many people have said to me that work from home is a scam, i.e., they have been doing double work, if not more than double, since work from home started. And I have seen a couple of messages from MDs and team leads telling a particular employee, a friend of mine, at about 12:01 a.m., a list of things that must be done, and the presentation was expected at 8:30 a.m. of that morning. Remember, this was about 12:02 in the morning. And the presentation from that individual was expected at 8:30 a.m. What that meant, therefore, was that people were not going to sleep, but be at work. So a lot happened at the same time. And like I said, we needed to bring the human experience into the workforce. And when I say human experience, I meant that from an entire HR value chain perspective, from the point of how we recruit people to the point where we need to think through how we exit people. It's an entire employee life cycle. So let me take a couple of examples, and I'm going to relate some of my examples to real life situations in terms of the conversations I've had with people in the last couple of weeks. The way we did recruitment was actually already changing before COVID-19 happened. And I remember that in one of my conversations on LinkedIn, what I said was that traffic was becoming horrendous, right? And is it possible for some of our line managers who want to interview candidates working with human resources to try and see how we can employ technology to work with us? Rather than inviting somebody from Port Harcourt to come to Lagos for a 2-hour or 1-hour conversation, or even if it's a whole day, is it possible to take the situation of that individual into consideration and say, hey, Zoom is available, Google Meet is available. There was Skype before all of this that we were all using, Skype for Business. Is it just possible that we take people's peculiar situations into consideration and therefore meet them where they are? I.e., can we have a conversation with people around recruitment over the internet? Do we necessarily every time have to tell people to come to VI, Ikoyi, Ikorodu Road, Ikeja, Allen, anywhere to come for interviews? That's one part of the human element that I think we were conversing for even before COVID-19 happened, that we should bring into human resources. Let us see other ways of making life a little bit easy for people, because again, like I said when I started, it's becoming more and more the employees market, the talent market. People are beginning to read the body language. They are beginning to read the culture of the organization at the point when they had the initial contact with the organization. How am I being treated at the point of being invited for interviews? This same conversation that I had yesterday with this organization that lasted just about 45 minutes to 1 hour, and I came all the way from Ibadan. Could we have done the same thing, for instance, through Zoom, Skype, or any other method of technology that we can employ, rather than play the power game of saying, come to my organization, come and see me, come for an interview and all that. That is just one element. For instance, let us start treating people with some level of dignity, with some level of respect, because they will begin to take decisions about joining the organization right from the initial point of entry into the organization. Do we send people an email or an SMS message 8 p.m. on Monday, and we say to them, come for an interview 8:30 or 9 a.m. on Tuesday? In terms of preparedness, letting them get ready for that conversation, are we really putting the human element into that conversation? I see a lot of people, I mean, I did say this also a couple of weeks ago, that if you invite me for an interview and in 15 minutes of me getting to the venue before time, and it is time for the interview, let's say 9 o'clock, I do not have any individual coming to me from that organization to say, hey, oh, we know you're waiting, we'll soon be with you. I begin to have a conversation around the unseriousness of that organization. The culture begins to speak to me. I am beginning to have a smell of this place from there. And I have seen and I have heard so many people talk about coming to interviews and spending hours, and I'm not saying 1 hour, 2 hours, hours before people are invited in for the interview conversation. And it just doesn't seem like we care about them. And like I said, these are talents. When they join the organization eventually, we are going to expect them to deliver, we're going to give them KPIs, we're going to give them JDs, we are going to expect them to be on the bus, to join us in terms of the destination the organization is going. But how do we treat them along the journey to bring them into the bus? How do we treat them? So we say to them, when you're coming, bring a copy of your CV. This is a controversial one. Bring 4 copies of your CV. And when we get to the interview and I show you the CV, that is when we begin to go through the CV of the individual before we interview them whilst they are waiting for the interview. Can we show some more human element in the process by getting ready so that our level as an organization, our level of seriousness for the talent we are inviting to join us is showing through at that point in time? Let's put back the human element into our human resources processes, because talents are scarce. Employable workforce out there is probably in the millions, but if you are looking for talent, then you need to be careful how humanly you are starting to treat employees, or candidates before they join the organization. So what is your communication to them or with them to come join your organization? And when you see them, what are you saying to them? How are you engaging with them when they are waiting at the reception? How are you engaging with them when they come into the room? And also, how are you engaging with them when you have finally ended the conversation at the interview? This is also a very painful one for so many candidates. And that's the fact that almost every week, HR is bashed on the cyberspaces because we just forget to communicate with candidates right after the interview. So they're waiting. We raise their hopes because we invited them through the process. We engage with them. They actually love the conversation. They actually think that, oh, something's going to come out of it. And then 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 year, 4 years, nothing happened. And I was saying to somebody just about 3 days ago that this does not happen only at the lower levels. This not communicating the feedback to candidates doesn't happen only at the lower levels. I can share an experience right now without naming the organization. Excuse me. In a particular year, an organization approached me on LinkedIn and said, oh, yeah, we're looking for head of HR. Do you want to come through the process? I promise you, the process was quite fast. I met with the African head of HR. In another week, feedback. I met with an executive director. Within that same week, I met with another executive director. And then maybe 2 weeks later, I met with the managing director. And the feedback was that, oh, okay, the process is ongoing. They'll give me a feedback. About 3 weeks after that, I met with the individual who was acting as head of HR in that role, a foreigner who was in that capacity. We had a conversation for another 1 hour, 1.5 hours. And this was November of a particular year. I'm not going to mention that year so that you don't have an idea. This was like November of a particular year. And I'm telling you that up till this moment, I have not received an official feedback to let me know that the interview went well or didn't go well till today. And I'm talking about months and years till today. And this is an organization that prides itself and says out there that people are our greatest asset. And I'm beginning to think, if you treat candidates who are going to be employees of your organization without that human element, when they join the organization, how are they going to be treated? How you treat candidates is an indication of how you treat your employees. Let us bring back that human element into the entire value chain of managing the workforce. So when they come into the organization also, how do we treat the issues around remuneration? How do we treat the issues around learning and development? How do we treat the issues around exit? Now, the one that's quite controversial these days is also around exit because of the situation we have found ourselves in. And I'm talking about the COVID-19 situation. So many organizations have found themselves suddenly in a position they did not bargain for as we're coming into 2020. And see, I'm always balancing the two sides of the coin, the employer and the employee. If business isn't coming in, there is no way the headcount wage can be sustained. That's the reality. However, in having that conversation with employees to say that we are getting to the point where we might not be able to carry on with you as a member of this organization, how do we handle employees? At the point when we come to the conversation around we might not be able to pay you 100% of your salary anymore, how do we handle the conversation? And I'll give 2 instances to support this position. A business owner, very popular business owner, who's a friend of mine in Lagos here, and extending the franchise across the other parts of Nigeria, gave me a call about 3 weeks ago now, and it was quite solemn. You could feel the pains because it was at the point when he was going to take a critical decision about the employees. The wage bill was no longer sustainable. We were fully in the period of lockdown, and we were just about to start easing it gradually when this happened. When he called me, that conversation lasted about 60 minutes, but I could feel the empathy with this guy in how he was going to take decisions affecting his employees. and he was asking me for professional opinion and the best way so that he could give his guys some sort of soft landing. That is the human element. And it is not staying only with human resources, it is also staying with leadership, especially. We are always, that is the human resources profession, we are always going to work with leaders in the organization about the possible situations, the possible scenarios, and the things we can do. But if leadership is not on board in terms of the advisory that we give on a daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly basis, it's going to be always a struggle. So this guy, eventually, we arrived at certain graduated decisions around employee salaries, and if things continued, ultimately, how he might just ease out some of the employees. But this was somebody who was quite empathetic about the situation. By the time we ended that conversation, we had clear-cut ideas about how to manage the situation in a way that still left employees with hope and did not take the dignity away from them. They can lose their job. People can, it's going to always happen, whatever the circumstances are. But even if we take jobs from people, let's not take dignity away from them. And that guy really, really impressed me. At some point, when I'm able to get his consent, I will name him in one of my conversations, maybe on LinkedIn and all that, so that people can know that we have leaders, business owners who have not taken out the human element out of their workforce, still there. So that's an example. Now, marry that example with another situation, which was just last week. And a younger friend of mine said, Yemi, you won't believe what happened. I said, yeah, what happened? And he said, we got to work yesterday morning. It was payday, and only 40% of our salaries were paid, without any conversation whatsoever with employees. Leadership or ownership of that organization just decided to pay 40%. Where is the human element? Where is empathy in that sort of situation? We do know, like I said before, that yes, we have come to a point where we will take certain certain hard decisions, certain uncomfortable decisions, certain unpleasant decisions. But what we shouldn't do is take empathy out of that process, take communication out of that process, take engagement out of that process. Because how you treat people in moments of crisis is an indication of how you will treat them in the times of plenty, when the business is doing very well. And the guys who are going to deal or who are going to stay with the business as talents, they are watching. They're watching the body language, they're watching the actions, they're watching the decisions, and they're thinking, treat us right. If you treat us right now, this is the time when we can give discretionary effort to the business so that we can all go over this particular curve, right? But if people are not treated within the right context as first and foremost human beings and numbers, then you'll be surprised that they'll take the 40% or the 60% or even 100% maybe, and what they will do is they will be surfing the net looking for available opportunities, maybe now or later into the future. So if you look at those two scenarios, you'll see that one business owner is retaining the human element in its human resources, right? Without necessarily having an HR function within the business driving that. This is leading from the front, taking ownership of unpleasant decisions, but taking that ownership with a lot of empathy in terms of how will my employees feel? What is the best decision for me to take given this unpleasant situation without necessarily taking or robbing people of their dignity? And another employee, of course, you can imagine the way, in the second instance, the way the conversation ended was that, so wife, I'm just telling you because I'm going to send my CV to you. Invariably, we've lost people. And let me also tell you what talents tend to do these days before they join the organization. You know, the ghosting, candidate ghosting is a very popular thing around now. What they do is, even if you give them an offer, right, they will wait and go talk to ex-employees. They'll find ways of talking to current employees to find out about leadership style, the DNA of the organization, is salary regular, how do they talk to people around here, what is learning and development and growth opportunities like, and all that. If they do not have the right sort of answers that will give them comfort about the new organization they want to join, they will get the offer, but they might not just come back to you. They will ghost. Basically, they will just ghost because they have not found the right organization treating employees in a way that leaves them as human beings. Let me also say, now, the millennialization of the workforce is also another reason why we need to be careful the way we treat talent. The millennials have certain peculiarities about them, and I'm not going to join the so many biases against my generation, the millennials. No, we have our own peculiarities, I agree. But every generation has come with its own peculiarities. I mean, there was an instance where I was talking to a particular client of mine, if I could use that expression, a client, and we were in the room, give or take about 50, 60 of us, and I said to them, okay, this is an organization with a multi-generational workforce. Can we split into the different generations? And the different generations should look at the other generations and tell us in writing, brainstorm and tell us the attributes, how they see the other generation. And it was so interesting that while one generation thinks that the other generation, they sag their trousers, they are impatient, they don't do very well with money, they move from one job to another. That generation is looking at the other generation and saying they are old-fashioned, they don't move with technology, they are very stuck in the rut in terms of their ways. They don't want to change. They say that this is the way we've always been doing things, so why do you want to change? So there is always that friction in the workplace between the generations. I call it the war of the generations. But the point is this: if we just take time to understand the new generation coming into the workforce and the workplaces, we will understand that they require a new set of leadership style for them to thrive. These guys have a lot to offer, but they require a different set of leadership style for them to thrive. And that leadership style is the one that collaborates. It's the one that doesn't tell them what to do, but it's the one that says, ask me what you want me to do and let's work together on it. I mean, something happened to me yesterday, and I said I was going to share this experience. This same laptop that I'm using right now, I got it a couple of weeks ago, and I got the same type for one of my daughters. She will be 11 next month. Something happened about 3 days ago at work, and I was struggling with it. And I was saying to myself, am I going to ask Tito B to teach me how to do this thing? So day one, I struggled with it. I walked through it. I couldn't get it. It was a simple thing, I promise you. Day two, I couldn't. So yesterday, I got home, and I said, Tito B, please come. This particular thing, how do I move the icons to the base of my laptop? Oh, she said, well, Daddy, is that what you want to do? And she took it from me, and in 5 seconds, she did it. And I looked at her and I said, so you're feeling cool with yourself right now? The point I'm trying to make is this: we need to come down to the level of the new generation in terms of how we manage them. The older ways of managing people doesn't sit well with them. If you want to get the best out of them, please put back the human into the way we manage them. Let them realize that we are in this together. Do not manage them by KPIs only. Do not manage them by numbers only. These guys want a sense of purpose. They want a sense of belonging. They want a sense of journey. They want a sense of ownership in the organization. Let's give it to them. I'm not saying give them shares. No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying that give them a sense of belonging and let them know that we are all in this together. one of the things you don't want to do at this period in time that the world is going through a major crisis is to manage people strictly by KPIs. So the organization said we can work from home. And my line manager calls me in the morning, right? And the first thing he or she says is, I hope you're at your desk. The meeting is about to start. Please be on standby. It's 10 minutes to time and all that. I'm dropping up the phone and I'm thinking, for how long am I going to work with this guy? What happened to how are you? How's your family? What happened to, oh, your daughter? She's 6 months now, right? How are you coping with the work from home situation? How are you coping with power, connectivity, data availability before we start talking about work? Can we come to a point where we are looking at the total individual as part of the organization and not only an isolated part of the individual who must deliver KPIs? Can we just not talk about KPI in a conversation tomorrow morning and just call the guy and say, hey, I'm just calling to say, how are you doing? Can we look at situations also on a case-by-case basis before we write off people, either at the point when they were candidates or when they have joined the organization? The only thing that can help us to put all of what I've been saying together is our level of emotional intelligence, right? If you are not emotionally intelligent as a leader, as a team lead, as a supervisor, what you tend to say to yourself is, this is me. So you either work with me or you leave me. I am formed in my ways, and this is how I do things. That is a conversation coming from somebody who is emotionally unintelligent. The situations, the circumstances, and the individuals involved in any of the circumstances that we find ourselves and the human transactions that we get involved with on a daily basis will suggest to us how we can handle the situation. As I begin to wind down, let me give an instance of what I read on LinkedIn yesterday. A friend of mine, a younger friend of mine, put up this post and he tagged me. Maybe one or two people listening to me might have read it. And it was a situation where he invited a candidate to an interview, and the candidate could not, for whatever reason, join the interview session, Zoom, technical issues. My friend tried to put her through. It didn't work for about 20, 25 minutes. It didn't work. Eventually, there was no interview. So the question is, when he got tagged me, the question is, for me and the other individuals that were tagged, what should happen? And I just said 3 words: reschedule the session. Because I do not think that not being able to log on the first time is enough to write off a candidate. Some other individuals might think, why is the candidate not abreast of technical issues and technological issues and therefore be ready for the interview? But hey, for me, that's probably an opportunity, an occasion to try and pay something forward to an individual. And it sends the right message about the interviewer and also the organization that we represent, that we are a caring organization. We don't just write people off. And I just thought, okay, for me, what I would have done really is to reschedule the interview. So this is what I'm saying. Wherever we are in the HR value chain and the transactions that we have on a daily basis with individuals, there is almost the how do I put it now? The automatic response to circumstances. But emotional intelligence will allow us to pause for milliseconds to go through the process internally and probably look at other options of dealing with the same situation. And that just sets us apart as human resources professionals, as leaders in the organization, as team leads, as whatever we want to be in the organization dealing with people. Our level of emotional intelligence, I believe, is what will allow us to bring back the human element in what we do on a daily basis with people. Thank you very much for listening. And if there are questions, I will take them at this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. YF.
I am
Wow,
not Mr. YF. I am not Mr. YF. I am YF or Yemi. Take out the Mr. in the Mr. YF.
You and Mr. Toto, you like to just harass me. You know, while you were talking, something came, two things actually. The first thing that struck me was when you said that don't let us take, even if we take jobs away from people, we should not take away their dignity. You know, and yes, I really, really appreciate that reality. Then the second thing that struck me was when you were talking, I was just like, Mr. YF is such a human being, like, it's human kind. I'm like, like, it's so human. It's, please, are you looking for a PA? I'm very available. But at this particular time, I'm looking for a human being.
I can't afford you. I can't afford you. I can't.
I was like, there are few human beings in this world. Like, just see somebody say, oh, you know, even if you want to sack them, at least be kind, you know. But it's so comforting that we are doing everything that we can to preserve what it is to be human. Thank you so much for that fantastic and human session. Human session. I'm not sure that you live in Nigeria or something, because it doesn't look like Nigeria has anything on you.
I live in Nigeria. I've lived in Nigeria all my life.
Then I'm not sure you've heard of COVID-19 before, because it just doesn't look like you know what a pandemic is. Like, it just looks like all the weapons formed against human beings are avoiding you. Like, you're so stable.
Well, like, I mean, okay. So,
this is serious. Like, everybody watching, this is achievable, man. You want to say something? Okay. I'm listening.
Okay, so what I was going to say was, in crisis situations, right? What I live by is two things. There are two things that I shouldn't worry about: what I can change and what I cannot change. If I can change it, go ahead, make plans, change it. If I can't change it, next thing, what next? Rather than worry about it. So it's not as if I don't have my worries. I have my worries. I have things that keep me awake at night. I promise you. But again, if I can change it, go ahead. If I can't change it, why worry?
Fantastic. I love that. I love that closing quote, that there are two things I don't bother about: what I can change and what I cannot change. I really love that. I've told one of my friends, okay, yes, what you can change and what you can't change.
Right.
Yes, awesome. Yes, and then I also see feedback, people saying that yes, it was a very human and humane session. Thank you so much. We're going to be taking questions, but I think that if you have any questions, please drop the question in the comment section. But Mr. YF may still be in the building. He may also be, may not be in the building, knowing pretty well that he's a very, very highly engaged professional. Our last and final speaker is in the house. And after this speaker, what this automatically means is that we will be rounding up the Emotional Intelligence Week on YouTube. And the convention, conference, movement continues on Zoom tomorrow. And tomorrow is going to be extremely, extremely, extremely beautiful. So if you were impressed by day one and you have been impressed today, then imagine tomorrow where we're going to be having all the nice speakers in the house, and Mr. Lakey Alder will be talking to us. If you do not have your ticket yet, then visit, or please visit www.emotionscity.com/products. Thank you so much, Mr. YF, once again for sharing your time, your expertise, and your life with us. Thank you for permitting us to host you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. It's been a pleasure being here. Thanks a lot. Thank you. All right.
Yes, sir. Wow. First session, second session, third session. I have been learning a lot. I hope you have also. I will be inviting the final speaker in about 60 seconds. Before I do that, please know that the first speaker was who? Mr. Gbenga Toto, a very quiet human session. And then Mrs. Bisis increased the rev, stepped up the game with her passion, you know, like, in fact, you know, when she was talking, the only thing that came to my mind was, it looks like this woman, you know, has, you know, she's been praying. You know, when it looks like somewhere has a prayed up, you know, I was like, calm down. Like, don't burn down the roof. Just let us have, she was just dishing from every angle. And then Mr. YF showed up to balance the tempo, you know, like quiet, humane, kind, you know, and all of that. And then the final guest, I don't know what Mr. Usa is about, but trust me, you know, he's very unpredictable. Sometimes he comes like thunder, sometimes he comes like a dove. Sometimes he comes like a magician. Sometimes he comes very calm. I don't know the brand that he's showing up with because he's very unpredictable. He's not a predictable man. You know, when you have too much skills, you just show up in whatever color, but whatever color you show up in has the impact. So let me welcome my next guest, final guest for Emotional Intelligence Week 2020. Let me just tell you who he is. Mr. Innocent Usa. After gathering about 2 decades of work experience in the real estate sector, Mr. Innocent Usa resigned to follow his heart as the official face of neuro-linguistic programming in Nigeria, or NLP in Nigeria. Mr. Usa has emotionalized and become the leader in spreading the use of its tools far amongst professionals, business people, and groups for over 7 years. The founder of Innocent Minds Training and Consulting has mastered dozens of applied psychology and transformative tools, and also recently created a brand new set of change work tools, which he christened the Epic Outcomes Matrix. Mr. Usa has successfully worked with many leading speakers, coaches, trainers, and influential entrepreneurs and high network individuals. He is Nigeria's foremost master practitioner and internationally certified master trainer of NLP, who is proud to be transferring these skills and tools to hundreds of committed people every year. It is no surprise he is referred to be some. It is no surprise that some people call him coach of coaches. Mr. Usa is somebody I have deep respect for. He's somebody I have a relationship with, and he's somebody that I admire so much, not just because of his results, but because he embodies what he teaches. I can see the results in his life. For him, it is not about speaking, it is about doing. So with a beautiful welcome, I will be handing over to Mr. Innocent Usa as I also sit to learn. Mr. Usa, are you still in the building? Are you in the country? Are you seeing what we're saying?
I'm in my home. I am seeing what you're seeing from afar.
I trust you. Hey, if I let you go now, you can begin to say that. Tell me what you are seeing, what you are hearing, what you are perceiving. That's how the thing starts, and then it hooks you. So let me take my seat and hand over to you. Thank you.
Salute. You're doing a fantastic job. Thank you for having me share. I always appreciate when Oyinkansola Alabi, I believe one of Nigeria's brightest minds, invites me to share on her platform. Thank you so much, Oyinkon. Thank you to all the beautiful team, amazing, resourceful team of people at Emotion City, and the top-notch, top-quality events that you put together, the top-notch, top-quality people you are building, and the top-notch, top-quality future you are helping us to create for ourselves, for our community, for our nations, and for the world. My name is Innocent Usa, and I'm excited to meet you. I've been introduced. I just love to call myself a lifestyle coach and somebody who, as a teacher, helps people to move from where they are to go to the direction that they really, really want to go. Today, I want to talk to you briefly. I have a few minutes, 30 minutes or so, to talk to you on the topic dealing with uncertainty in business or in the workplace. Dealing with uncertainty in business or in the workplace. I'll start with a story of a man who sat in front of his house with his dog, and the neighbor passed by and greeted him. "Hello, neighbor, how are you?" And the man waved back to the neighbor and greeted. And then the neighbor was curious to point to the dog that was lying beside him and asked, "Neighbor, why is your dog moaning and groaning?" The neighbor looked by at his dog, shrugged, and said, "Well, it's moaning and groaning because it's lying on a pack of nails, sharp upward pointing nails." And then the man asked the neighbor, "So why doesn't it get off the pack of nails?" The neighbor looked at him and said, "Well, I guess it's because the nails probably don't hurt bad enough. Probably the dog is lying on the nails that don't hurt it bad enough." Dealing with uncertainty in business and or in the workplace. So I know that you are aware that we are in very pretty challenging times. We are in very uncertain times, and we are in predictable times. But I think we have gotten so sucked up in the times that we are in, describing it as challenging, uncertain, and unpredictable, which is true, by the way, but we have totally forgotten that for such a time as this, where we created, we are made of sterner stuff, but our focus has been so attached for a while now on the whirlwind of COVID, on the challenges of the time, that I think that we are losing sight on who we are. We are built up, made, created, I believe personally, for times that are even worse than this. The thing is, we have sucked up into a narrative that says probably that, if you declare, if you make confessions, if you make your affirmations, if you have goals, if you have emotional intelligence, if you are a very mature person, if you have a lot of money, if you have good friends and relationships, life would just sail and go on smoothly. Business would prosper, people would like you, and all of that. I think this is a shaking up experience that tells us that that is completely untrue. We are a challenged people. We are a troubled people. Because we are made for challenges, we are made for troubles, and we are made for tough times and sometimes unpredictable times. That is who we are. Some of you may have heard the very popular quote, "In this world you shall have tribulations, but be of good cheer." In this world you shall have tribulation. I think that any day that you wake up and there is no tribulation around you, it's very likely that you are 6 feet below, or you have crossed over to the other side. I don't know whether it's the good side or the bad side, but you have crossed over. The day that you wake up and there's no trouble around you, because man that is born of a woman is born into trouble. As
We are trying to get Mr. Usa. Of course, that's part of what goes on from this side of the world. So, Mr. Usa will be back in anytime from now. But can everybody still hear me? Just let me know. I need to be sure that this is working. Can everybody still hear me, please? Please just let me know if you can still see and hear me. Please let me know if you can see and hear me. Kindly just use the comment section. Just let me know if you can see and hear me, and then we continue the conversation. Can you still see and hear me, please? Okay, so you can see and hear me. Thank you. So Mr. Usa is tuning back in.
Okay, I think something went wrong with my internet. Hello? 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 Hello?
Yeah. So hello. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Okay. Okay. So can I shoot on? All right, good. So as the uncertain times we're in, we're built for those times, you know. The times are uncertain, the times are challenging, yes, the times are unpredictable. Now, if times are challenging, it's because we were built for times like this. We were created for times like this. We're prepared for time. We ought to be prepared for times like this. I believe that times like this, therefore, require for us to have a level of stability. And there are different types of things you can do to have stability in your life. However, I'm talking essentially about emotional stability. That we are supposed to have emotional stability and fortitude. So emotional stability and fortitude is required in this time. So that ability to be able to understand what is going on, to position ourselves with what is going on, to make ourselves relevant with what is going on, to lead ourselves and lead other people with what is going on, so that we're able to attract the kinds of relationships that we want, build the kinds of relationships that we want, attract the kinds of outcomes and results that we want, build the kinds of outcomes and relationships that we want. The only thing that is capable, and I believe speaker after speaker has inundated us with the need for this, that the only way this is possible is if we have emotional stability. This emotional stability would help us to survive, to do three things. Number one, to survive and overcome. So we are going to, I believe that before COVID-19, each and every one of us have been through some kind of COVID-19 experience. COVID-19 experience will be the one that makes everything to cave in under you, to make you to almost lose your relevance, lose your business, lose your market, lose everything around you. And so we have, in certain ways, in some unique way, personally, individually, and in some ways collectively, been through some kind of experience that was unpredictable, some kind of experiences that put us in some kind of uncertainty. So when we build emotional stability, or that tendency to remain unperturbed in a very distressing situation, we are first and foremost able to survive. We will survive the winds, we will survive the trauma. It means that the katakata, the trouble, the challenges will not overwhelm us. We will stay in it, we will be alive. Now, this is not just for individuals who are professionals. Turbulent times can hit businesses, not just with things like diseases. We have turbulent times when the industry begins to show signs of distress, signs of packing up, the industry that you may be in. It could be challenges with an economy that is becoming that is facing some challenges, an economy that is either going into distress on an economy that is shutting down. Those can be challenging times. Challenging times can be when you are in the marriage and, without any signs, your spouse says, I want to have a divorce. Challenges can be moments when friends that you have depended on, that you have believed are loyal, um, give up on you. I mean, give you up to somebody else. They don't have your back anymore. They gossip about you to some other person, or they do things that really put you in a state of shock. Challenging times can be times when somebody falls ill. You have sudden news that, oh, you have cancer, or you have something that is debilitating. It's a debilitating illness. A challenge can come to us. Now, every one of us, you and I, have had cause and occasion to experience these kinds of challenges in the past. We have had occasion to lose money in investments, to lose money in businesses, to experience people who are fraudsters steal our money, people who are investors make us lose money by bad investment decisions. Or maybe you bought something and the thing got damaged and you didn't know, you had an accident, auto accident, or you hear the loss of a loved one and you grieve. Now, through all of these experiences, what happens with humankind, with you and I, is that we experience all kinds of turbulence. We experience all sorts of emotions. We experience all kinds of trouble. And what will make us survive and overcome is emotions that are under control. Many people, many of us have been through some of these things, and we cannot for sure say categorically that we had our emotions under control. Our emotions ran us rather than we run the emotions. Our emotions basically run wild. So when we have emotional stability, emotional fortitude, we will be able to survive anything. We'll be able to go through anything. But the second thing I'm going through is that sometimes we need to be able to go beyond survival and to go beyond just overcoming the catastrophe, overcoming the challenge, to move to a place where we are stable in the challenge. We've not only overcome, we've not only survived, we have triumphed over it, and we are in a place where we are consistently soaring in the place of overcoming. We're consistent, we are stable, the curve is flat, the curve is on a plateau. Many people sometimes experience the up and down experiences of life, up and down experiences of life. In order for us to thrive, not just in these times, but any of the times I have just given examples of course, we must have not just the ability to deal with this challenging, uncertain, and unpredictable time by being stable, having emotions that are stable, and having fortitude, so that we're able to survive and overcome. We must also, number two, manage the situation and sustain the tempo of our victory. Manage the situation and sustain the tempo, so you don't just want to survive, and then sometimes you're on survival mode, and then sometimes you drop down again to dead mode. Sometimes you're on survival mode and overcoming mode, and sometimes no, you want to survive consistently. So when you thrive on that plane of surviving consistently, what can then happen is, number three, we're able to thrive and to grow. we are able to thrive and to grow. There is no thriving and growing when you haven't been sustainably in the place of survival. So you survive sustainably and then you begin to grow. But ultimately, when you are surviving, when you are sustaining your survival, and when you are thriving and growing, ultimately in challenging times, in uncertain times, in unpredictable times, the ultimate prize is the price of an R word. The ultimate price is the price of an R word. And the word is resilience. Resilience. Lience. Resilience. Resilience. That ability to build fortified ability to go through whatever, come what may, come rain, come sunshine, now and in the future. Ultimately, when we build ourselves to be resilient. Now, the point, I'm not saying something that's not obvious. What I'm saying is that many of us have been hit by life's vicissitudes at times when we were not aware, at times when we were not prepared, at times when we were not whatever. And the reason is purely because we do not have emotions under control. Many people don't like to have the conversations around emotions because they believe, see, I want to have 7-figure income. I want to have 10-figure income. I want to be able to have a fantastic outcome in my business. See, this thing about emotion is a woman thing. I want to be, no. The conversation has gone beyond that for many people around the world today. Except if you are some Nigerian living in a village, some African living in a very rural place, you would have known that having that fortitude, having that thing is a sure anchor, because you are either in some challenging time right now, or you are about to hit some, or you are coming out of some. Okay, you are either about to enter some challenging, tough situation, or you are coming out, or you are headed into one. And even when you come out, you would head into another, because life is a circle. It's a circle. We keep going round and round and round and round. So the person who builds resilience in adversity, the person who builds resilience in adversity is the person who is able to have that fortitude that is required, that stability that is required to survive and overcome, to manage and sustain, as well as to thrive and to grow. This cannot happen until we take three things very seriously. What are those three things? It's your ability to make very powerful discovery happen. What are these kind of discovery? Number one, it is self-discovery. To discover yourself, to find out who you are. Many people do not have a clear picture of what their identity is. Who are you? So many people, when you ask them, who are you? They'll say, oh, I'm a farmer, or I'm a doctor, or I'm engineer. Okay, and so you ask them, what if this was taken away from you? Who would you then be? Who would you be? Who would you become? Okay, the sense of who you are, the sense of your own identity. What is your own identity? What is your own identity? That is very key. That is very important. So self-discovery. The second one is self-awareness. Self-awareness is to begin to be in the know of what is going on in you, with you, and around you. What is going on in you, with you, and around you. Now, this is key for somebody who practices this. Somebody who practices this, notice that come what may, come what life's vicissitudes, life's turmoil, life's trouble, they will survive. Then they will not only survive, they will be able to manage and sustain their ability to survive. And then ultimately, they will thrive, they will grow, and they will soar. So you want to get into the kind of person who does all of this is the kind of person who is resilient, who is strong, who is unperturbed in adversity. Resilient, tough, unperturbed in trouble, because trouble times come for everybody. And so when you are in that place, it is only because you have mastered self-discovery, self-awareness, and self-mastery. I told you just in brief what for me self-discovery is, and consistently in living while fulfilling your values, living in tandem with your beliefs, and making sure that you are building a life, a work, a career, or anything with the attitude that answers is a place where you, because you have consistently, because you have stayed what works, stayed plugged into who you have discovered yourself to be, stayed plugged into with you an awareness of what is going on in you while striking a balance with all three, you will be able to soar. And ultimately, in the times that we're in workplaces with that we ultimately want to create, which you will not create, which many people desire but they would not have, if all of these that I have mentioned don't happen, is number one, we want to be able to be creative. Creativity is key, it's very important. Then we want to be able to be innovative. Creativity to be able to find solutions, to be able to find solutions, to be able to find solutions, innovation, to be able to create something that has not been seen before. Last word there is resilience. Resilience, fourth anchor, being an anchor. And so finally, ladies and gentlemen, my friends, as you listen to me today, I'm trying to round up because I told you I had just 30 minutes. As I round up today, the reason why I have shared the need for all of this ultimately is because man's ability to adapt, he finds himself. Any man, any group, any professional, any business owner, anyone that is not able to adapt will not be desirable, will not be attractive, and who will be adaptable in any situation. Someone who will do well when there is abundance, someone who will do well when there is scarcity, someone who will do well in a strange land and in strange fields, someone who will do well in unfamiliar lands and unfamiliar fields, someone who will do well when they are rewarded to navigate that part of life and become adaptable, gives that person an edge, and essentially the word that describes that for me more than any other word is emotional intelligence. And so I end up by saying to every single one of us who is listening to this video, watching this viewing this video, to say to you that at Emotional City, if you want to know what is the course that is available next, plug in. You have their website. I think it's emotioncity.com or .org. So I'm not sure. You want to visit the website. You want to check what are the courses that you can use to build yourself up. What are the courses that are available at Emotion City that you can use to get into self-discovery, that you can use to get into self-awareness, that you can use to get into self-cash. So I'm ephemeral. See, I had a time in my life when I had a lot of money, but it didn't last. Plenty money like this in my hands. I mean, because there was no awareness that I had built myself about what was going on with me, who I was, and so emotional intelligence is one of those skills that completely changed my life. You can take it further. You can take it further than being at a seminar. You can take it further than being on a video. Emotion City, and begin to see how you can improve the quality of your life, the quality of your work, the quality of your business, the quality of everything that you do, so that you are not just the person who goes up, step, and jump. You are not up and down, up and down, up and down. You want to be stable, you want to soar, you want to be able to be resilient in any situation, in any circumstance. Why? The world has been waiting for you. And so as I end tonight, my question for you is, how much is that greatness, that future, that person that you want to be, what you want to create, what you want to have, what you want to do, how much are not able to create? And the reason why I say that is because you deserve it, and there are many people who are waiting for your manifestation. Finally, I know I've said finally a couple of times now. Finally. Tomorrow is an exceptionally brilliant opportunity and a brilliant day if you are alive. I want you to now enroll for that event and I want you to do whatever it takes for us to connect at that event. I think it's cheap. I think it's affordable. Yourself and be like a seed that cannot be removed in the. But you see, tough people will survive these tough times, and I'm sure you've heard that saying before. Okay, tough people don't crumble when there are tough times; they survive. So I want you to survive, but I want you to sustain your ability to not just survive and stay alive. I want you to ultimately flap your wings, develop wings, and soar. You need skills. You need to be able to be true to yourself. You need to be able to build resilience. You need to be able to clear off all of the beliefs that are stopping you from moving forward. You need to be able to look within and say, what are my internal inhibitions? What are those things that have been stopping me? So this is the time not procrastinate, but to say, you know what, I deserve this. I'm going to do this. and I'm committed to this. If you're committed to that, go ahead and write in the comment section and say, I'm committed and I'm willing to do whatever it takes legally. Okay, go ahead and write that now. I'm committed and I'm willing to go ahead and to do whatever is necessary legally to soar, to grow, and to defeat all of the things that have held me back, whether it's procrastination, whether it's inertia, whether it's whatever you think it is that holds you do have, and create anything that you want in your life and in your work. My name is Innocent Usa, and I always like to end my saying to say, God forbid that I ever meet you, that I ever meet you at a pension queue. I don't want to meet you on a pension queue. I'm hoping that I'll meet you soon at a business class lounge somewhere at an international airport. I'm hoping that I'll meet you soon at an international conference. I'm hoping that I'll meet you soon at some change makers event. I'm hoping that I'll meet you soon when you decide that now is your time and now you'll arise. Thank you so much for being a part of this. If you have any question, you have anything you want to ask, any comments, I'll be glad to hear from you. But more than anything else, I want to meet you at tomorrow's event, and I want to connect with you on this awesome platform Nigeria has, which is rare, called Emotion City.
Thank you so much, Mr. Usa. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Despite the glitch, thank you. Thank you so much.
Emotion, and I'm excited to have connected with you. I hope we can meet again.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mr. Usa. Thank you so much. We are doing the best with what we know and what we have. And of course, this session really depicted resilience and grit. Despite all, we were able to learn as much as possible. Thank you so much, Mr. Usa. If you have any questions, kindly type at the comment section. To also reach out or get in touch with Mr. Usa. His handles are Innocent Usa. His company's name is called Innocent Minds. Innocent Minds. Then, quite truthfully, is somebody I do not just admire or respect. He's somebody that I submit to. If I need any clarity in any area, he's just a text message, WhatsApp, away, because he embodies his message. And he has also been able to create a movement around his message. If you have any questions for him, please send the questions here. We live in Nigeria, so part of what it takes to live in Nigeria is grit, resilience in all flavors. So you would see some level of glitch here and there, but then we are doing the best with what we have and with what we can deploy. So any questions, please let us have it. Like he said, the movement continues tomorrow, but tomorrow is exclusive and private. It is a workshop on Zoom with the oracle of the branding industry, Mr. Leke Oda. The websites are here at the comment section to buy your tickets. It is extremely private, so you need a ticket to get an access. You need a ticket. It is not on YouTube. You need a ticket to access it. If you have any questions, please let us know. If you were here from beginning to the end, wow, you are one of the 1% of the 1% of Nigerians who will do that. We appreciate that reality, that fact. Please share this link with your friends. If you are also going to watch the replay, or you were not able to join but are watching the replay, thank you so much. This is the Emotional Intelligence Week, and I must say that it is the first, or Africa's first, Emotional Intelligence Week, brought to you by Emotion City and all of the fantastic speakers. It is the third time we are hosting this, technically fourth, but with the brand new Emotional Intelligence Week, it's the third time, and it is always self-sponsored. Emotion City, always. And I must say that when I say always, so we're talking about all the alumni members, putting their funds together, speakers also speaking from their depth, sharing, this is usually charitable, not because they have to do it, but because they are extremely interested in preserving what it is to be human. So once again, thank you to all our speakers. Thank you to Mr. Innocent Usa. Thank you to Mr. Yemi Fashion. Thank you to Mrs. Bisi Sojoyawi. And of course, Benga Tutoi. Thank you also every soul that tuned in from yesterday till today, and that you also helped us to publicize, share the link, whatever it is. Please go ahead and do the same thing tonight. Remember to also subscribe. Our details are on the website is www.emotioncity.com. To subscribe is just our YouTube channel, which is emotioncity.com. But thank you so much. On behalf of Emotion City, Lagos State, and Texas, I would like to say thank you. And then this is the end of the final day, day 2 of the Emotional Intelligence Week. Day 3 will be hosted on Zoom and is exclusive to high network individuals. Just because you are one of them, please pick a ticket on our website, emotioncity.com/products. It's been my pleasure sharing my life with you in the past 2 days or for the past 2 days. I hope you were able to learn. I hope you have enough nuggets to stay emotionally stable in an unstable world. I hope you have enough tools to remain certain in an uncertain world. Once again, thank you. If you're going to watch the replay or you're showing up as a visitor to watch, thank you for showing up on our handle. And we hope that this has been worth your time, your energy, your strength. Of course, if you need coaching and therapy sessions, please visit www.thementalhealthmall, mentalhealthmall.com. Please make use of all of the tools and professionals there. Till I come your way again, probably next year, Emotional Intelligence Week 2021. God preserve us. God help us. God increase us. Thank you. Do have a beautiful, wonderful, 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 and pleasant night rest.